Good morning, thank God it's Friday and welcome aboard to the AM show live on the Joy News channel. My name is Denise Apomaide. What a week it has been. I hope you're good and we expect to have a wonderful weekend ahead, don't we? But we are focusing on today's show. As usual, we'll begin serving you with the news. I will bring you that and keep you updated on all you need to know for the morning, including sports, courtesy Mufta Nabila Abdullahi. Well, also, what are on the tabloids, okay? It's Friday. You get to know the highlights of all that on the news review segment. But let's delve into the matters arising. We know that the minority in Parliament is backing government's directive to international mining firms operating in Ghana to shift operations from local firms by the end of the year. But says the directive is not new, okay? So we'll delve into that with our guest on the news review. Also, over 108.8 million Ghana cedis paid to 1,949 discontinued employees whose status was known to the Controller and Accountant General Department, but whose records were never deactivated in the payroll system. Interesting, is it not? The Institute of Economic Research and Public Policy identifies, among others, irregularities in the payroll audits. We'll also be discussing that right here on the show. Plus, Church of Pentecost cries out, no baptism for communities around river bodies because of illegal mining. Interesting development indeed. We know that illegal miners have attacked the church. So the question we're asking is, what should the church do? Oh God, redeem your church from evildoers, compelling issues that you don't want to miss. This morning, we have a cocktail of all these on the news review segment. I will bring you the AM news right after this. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a wonderful Friday morning. My name is Denise Apomaide. Up next is the news. Welcome back. This is AM News. Now, in the very first story, the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice is warning of potential human rights breaches in the proposed Anti-LGBTQI+ bill. The caution came during a stakeholder engagement convened by Parliament's Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee following a referral by the Speaker. Charge Director for Human Rights, Mary Nati, says efforts to protect social values must not undermine the rights of individuals. James Aveji reports.
The two-day stakeholder engagement on the anti-LGBTQ bill is to seek input and proposed amendment from stakeholders into the bill. Here are some suggestions from some groups.
I'll be very happy if we speak about the removal of the proposed surgery for person living with intersex, because there is biological. It is not medical something. They were born with it.
Director in charge of human rights at the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Mary Nate, warned that in the bid to protect social values, the bill must also uphold the rights of all individuals.
The fact that the bill must be looked at within the lens of human rights is something we need to underscore in this dialogue. So we will plead with members to look at the bill. Yes, we agree that we have values. However, humanity is a key principle. And so when we are considering the bill, let's have in mind the core principles. And I want to associate myself with the Human Rights Chair and the submission that they made. That it's important that the key principles of human rights are brought to bear in our discourse.
A number of clauses which came under severe criticism are those who sought to discriminate persons born with two sexual organs, attempt to criminalize sexual educations for academic and health purposes, the validity of marriages of gay diplomats, and the role of international fund partners in the bill. Members of the committee unanimously agreed to allow only the laws of Ghana and the sovereignty of the country to take interest over any international influence. In the midst of all this, some members did not lose the opportunity to take a swipe at each other.
There's a gentleman for whom a video was leaked and an altercation between himself and a male lover of him came up last year. A gentleman known as Educator. Now, he can be charged on the basis of the video of male and male intercourse. That is a different thing. Male who claims that he has transitioned to a female and has held himself out on TV and done music videos and now claims that he is having intersex with Honorable Intim Kojo, and that Honorable Intim Kojo is his gay lover. Why are we saying that someone like this individual who has gone out to hold out and is even making such claims, we are saying we can't hold the person is not holding, and that is not prosecutable?
Chairman, my name has come up. It is important I respond. Maxine, in her old or present life, no, it's important. In her old or present life, as contrary to her claim, contrary to his or her claim that she has had some, perversive intercourse with me, I've never engaged in any sexual intercourse, apart from what God created between Adam and Eve.
The Ningo Pram MP Sam George assured that he will get the bill passed, contrary to some assertions that he has abandoned the responsibility after getting into government.
I have heard people who have said Sam George and his colleague sponsors have abandoned. We've run away because I've been appointed minister. Chair, the process is the process. One of the reasons my chiefs and people had returned me to the 9th Parliament was because they thought I had unfinished business from the 8th Parliament, which was the passage of this bill. And so I indicated that I was going to reintroduce the bill even as a 7th minister if I was approved by Parliament.
The committee will continue its engagement on Friday. James Savage, Joy News. Fulfillment of Parliament standing orders.
Now, the Traditional Medicine Practice Council, the regulatory body overseeing herbal and traditional medicine practice in Ghana, has begun an enforcement exercise targeting illegal practitioners and unlicensed sellers across the country. The operation, which took place in parts of Accra, including Westlands, is aimed at verifying whether practitioners and shop owners have valid licenses to operate, as authorities intensify efforts to sanitize the sector and protect public health. There's more in the following report.
In the busy corners of Accra, herbal medicines and traditional therapies have become part of daily lives. It's all over. But behind these services is the big question about licensing and regulation. Who is checking whether these practitioners are doing the right thing? Now, the Traditional Medicine Practice Council is taking action, moving in to enforce the law and ensure that only certified practitioners and licensed businesses are allowed to operate. Leading the operation is Head of Compliance and Enforcement at the Council, Michael Lawson. He says the exercise is not only about enforcing the law, but to increase public awareness on the role of the Council.
So it's basically a series of processes. So the process is basically the inspection, the enforcement, which ends up achieving compliance with the TMPC Act 2000 Act 575. Currently, the focus is in Greater Accra, but there is a bigger itinerary. The bigger itinerary is targeted towards other regions. So basically, the 16 regions in Ghana. We'll be visiting all those regions to ensure that the practitioners over there, they are complying with TMPC.
While those with expired licenses are being directed to report to the Council's office for renewal, while some businesses are being shut down, others are taking steps to comply, heading to the Council's office to renew their license. Michael Lawson cautioned that unregulated services pose a risk to public health and stressed the need for strict compliance to build trust in the sector and regularize the operations.
So this one, it is also a platform to appeal to the general public and people who are also in the provision of these services. If you happen to find yourself to provide any of these services that I've listed, kindly ensure that you take the necessary steps to ensure that you get your facility licensed, and also ensure that all the people who are providing these services within your facility are certified, so that when officers come, they know that the facility is licensed. When the public also comes there, they know that there's some kind of public trust.
Martha Sewa Boash's report for Joy News.
Let's talk about education now. Limited access to reading materials is threatening teaching and learning among basic school pupils in the La Nkwantanan-Madina area. The Municipal Directorate of Education warns that despite committed teachers and targeted interventions like the DL Learning Plus program, currently running weekly in 9 low-performing schools, progress could stall without adequate books. This has prompted urgent calls for partnerships with publishers and stakeholders to supply learning resources and sustain the impact. Deborah Enimwa-Bedu has more in the following report.
The La Nkwantanan-Madina Municipal Directorate of Education says limited access to reading materials is still slowing efforts to improve literacy in basic schools, even as ongoing programs show clear progress. The DL Learning Plus program, running weekly in 9 low-performing schools, is helping pupils read better, understand text, and retell what they learn. But officials warn that without enough books and learning materials, these gains could easily be lost.
We need the materials. Okay, the teachers are there to help, but we may have we have resource constraints. So if they provide us with reading materials, it will help our learners even to borrow some of these materials and go and read them over the weekend, and at the weekday they bring them back. Anyone like Ghana Book Publishers Corporation is welcome. We will partner with them to ensure that we add value to the reading ability of our learners.
Meanwhile, at the national level, the Education Director for the Ghana Books Development Council, Nesti Sialate Asiunora, says it is supplying free books to basic schools across the country in partnership with stakeholders to strengthen reading culture and stock classrooms and libraries.
Together with all our partners, we are providing a lot of books to basic schools all over the country. So if we haven't reached your school yet, watch out. Very soon we'll be very close to a school near you, or probably even within your school. We've started with English books, but we are also producing a lot of books in various indigenous languages, because we are not only promoting reading in English, but promoting reading in our indigenous languages.
Among pupils, reading is widely embraced and enjoyed, with some saying it has improved their academic performance. However, they note that the shortage of books makes it difficult to practice regularly and maintain consistency in reading.
Normally in the evening, I spend 2 to 3 hours on my books to read and at least understand. And if I have any problem, either I consult somebody at home, or when I come to school, I consult my teacher.
With reading, it has broadened my knowledge about things happening around us. And also, it has helped me to improve on my academics, to the delight of my parents. And
stakeholders are therefore urging strong collaboration between government, publishers, and education partners to ensure sustained access to books and strengthen literacy development nationwide. For Joy News, Deborah Enimwa-Bedu's report, read to you.
Let me now take you to the Upper West region. The National Vice Chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Chief Soto Azoka, has dismissed suggestions that the party's national chairman is using the thank you tour to galvanize grassroots support for a future flag-bearer bid. He stressed that Mr. Johnson Asiedu Nketia has not promoted himself or acted improperly during the tour, but is rather addressing promises made by the NDC in the run-up to the 2024 polls. Join us as Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafik Salam reports from Moa.
The past few weeks have seen the national chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, busily engaged in a whistle-stop tour on some constituencies in the country, dubbed Thank You Tour. According to Johnson Asedun Ketie, he is embarking on the tour to thank supporters of the party for voting massively for the NDC to win the 2024 polls and to reassure the base of the party that they haven't forgotten of the promises they made in the run-up to the elections, stating that the party is bent on fulfilling each of the social contract they made with the people.
And as we promise each other, we promise to keep faith, to make sure that everybody will deliver his side of the bargain. That is why I am here today, to discharge one of the conditions of our contract, and that is to come and thank you for the votes.
However, for some close observers of the political space, the NDC chairman is rather embarking to entrench himself with the grassroots supporters of the party, aimed at preparing him to be the next leader of the NDC. And national vice chairman of the NDC, Chief Sofo Azoka, who is accompanying the national chairman on the tour, strenuously disagreed.
Many people are saying he's campaigning.
No. But you are journalists. When he stand here, is it mention his name? I said in Ketia will do this. He's telling the people that it's a promise. If you win, we'll come back again. And we win.
So there's no way that he'll put his name on the ballot for NDC.
You are asking me. If the day President Mama says he should not go again, we'll see who will come. The time. So
you yourself, currently you are vice chairman of the NDC. Yeah. Are you going to run for elections again?
If God say I should run, I'll run. I can say that today. I'm going. Then you hear that I die. I will say I will not go. Then God give me long life. So if God say anything, Wallah, thank God.
Chief Sofo Azoko said, with the good management of the economy, coupled with the good and modest leadership of President John Dramani Mahama, he is of the firm belief that the NDC will be at the helm of power in the country for the next 12 years.
What the NDC has so far done, you think that they can retain after 2028?
How 2028? You know, say we are going 4 times, 12 years.
So 4 years, that will be about 2040.
But look, this country, our Ghana here, they are very clever. You can't boss them. The President Mama promised them that he will change the country. He will bring development. And today, that people are saying that 1 year development is okay for them.
So that's why they need another 12 years.
12 years. 2027, the common fund of DCs, they are increasing it too. If they give them low, 27 they will increase it. 28 they will increase it. So the whole country will be quiet.
Chief Sofo Azoko discounted claims that he's a violent person, stating he is humble and frowns on injustice.
No, today, you know, any growing up, everybody is growing. So we must focus that you are growing.
So Chairman Azoka is no more of that violent type.
I'm not a violent person. I'm a peace guy. If you wanted to teach me, I won't allow it.
Reporting for Dwayne News, Rafik Salam, Chago.
Well, it's now time for business. The Ahanta Pele Samuel Kojo will bring us that right after this breather.
Let's do business updates now. And cocoa farmers in Ghana are worried that delay in paying for their beans of up to 6 months are hampering them from harvesting a rain-boosted mid-crop. The farmers say they anticipate bumper harvest, but are discouraged from harvesting their produce due to delayed payments. Details in this report.
According to Reuters, Ghanaian farmers it engaged said the delays have drained the operating funds, leaving them unable to hire labor or cover harvesting costs in Ghana, where the cocoa sector supports the livelihoods of some 800,000 farming families. The Ghana Cocoa Cooperatives Association Vice President Theophilus Tamaklo said farmers have cocoa on the trees that needs to be harvested, but there is no money to do that. He disclosed that he has 14 freshly harvested bags weighing 896 kilograms, nearly a metric ton, in his warehouse, which he has refused to hand over to buyers on credit. Some farmers insisted that they will only release them to licensed buying companies that pays instantly.
Well, Associate Professor of Finance at the University of Cape Coast Business School, Professor Seram Kao, has expressed concern over the decline in bank credit to the real sector, warning that limited private sector lending could slow Ghana's economic recovery. He noted that while IT build yields and perceived risk in the private sector explain the trend, the outcome is counterproductive. Speaking to Joy Business, Professor Kao called for broader engagement between stakeholders to design risk-sharing schemes, credit guarantees, and targeted incentives that make lending to private sector attractive again.
In terms of the rates, I do not think so. The rates are lower. That will give enough motivation for the banks to lend to the private sector. But what is happening is that there is a risk component, the uncertainty of receiving the money. The treasury bill currently is the most safe investment instrument in the country, where the government will not default in the payment of this. And so the banks are using, excuse me to use the word, the lazy approach type. They don't want to take more risk. And for that reason, they prefer buying the treasury bill because those ones are safer. Yeah. They are liquid. They'll be able to get their money at any time they want to get that amount of money. But the private sector comes with more work, where you need to look at their financials, look at their sustainabilities, making sure that their cash flows are okay, they will be able to pay your money in time. Right. And so some of these things are the ones that are affecting the rate. Right. As I said earlier on, government needs to sit up with all the players in the entity to ensure that there is more funds that are channeled towards the real sectors of the economy.
And indeed, that needs to be looked at so that banks can lend to the private sector, the real economy, the real sector, so that we can help in the economic recovery. And that's how we wrap up the business update. Back to you, Denisia.
Thank you, Ahanta Pele. Well, that's it for the AM News. But don't forget that the AM Show is sponsored by Shield Silicone Paints from Azar Group, Syntex Pipes, and also Time Herbal Mixture. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we enjoy today's moments, don't forget to keep your body refreshed and your energy right with Fresh Drop Still Natural Mineral Water. Fresh Drop Still Natural Mineral Water is not just any water. It's mineral rich that keeps you going. So whether you're dancing, cheering, or simply enjoying the moment, Fresh Drop Still Natural Mineral Water is what you need. So grab a bottle available in 500 ml, 20-liter jars, and sachets. So you can contact Fresh Drop Still Natural Mineral Water on 055-2250-290. And that's it for the AM News. My name is Denisia Pomaje. For more news, please do log on to myjournalline.com. Up next is sports. Enjoy the rest of the show. Have a lovely Friday and a wonderful weekend.
Ready for what's about to happen? Only on Dry Prime Television. All right. Listen. Okay. Yeah. Hey, my name is MC Kofi Darlington. Out here, my sister, the guy is quick. Giving the rappers the platform to show their flow. They go blow. Beats and bars to the baddest thing. You get back, spit up, the baddest thing. This with the mic, make me see the fire. No darling, cause we know the tire.
Mike and I are ready. What's a rap? So now you will rap, beat some bars. You get bars, challenge.
Yo.
This is not just rap.
This is not just lyrics. This is war on the mic. Yes, you're welcome to Beat and Bars, the ultimate community rap show, live on Joy Prime Television. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we bring rappers from your community to show us what they've got.
Two communities, two fellas MCs. I'm the guy, a queen sister stand the beat. Hey guy, and I'm doing this with my brother.
Yeah, you know when the queen is on, the king is on. My name is MC Kofi Darlington, the only MC with a sauce to spice it all up. And ladies and gentlemen, Beat and Bars, we say you get bars, spit up. All right.
Freestyle, rep your community and brag, you know what I'm saying?
You heard that. You have just 3 rounds to prove yourself as a rapper. Every other Saturday live on Joy Prime Television. Make sure you sit down 8 p.m. Join us with some cool drink and enjoy the party, man. Your pong is smelling good. Bars.
You got bars.
Spin it down.
Shield silicone paint repels water, dispels water vapor, is washable, self-cleaning, and durable. Now, you can appreciate how and why Shield silicone paint.
Hey! Is your tech holding you back? Feeling lost in the maze of outdated gadgets? Relax. Come with me to Configure.
Now I've been international fashion designer. No more pencil than talk matter beer. Configure. Classic.
Oh, number 1.
At Ghana, we don't just sell electronics, we transform your life. From office to home appliances and more, we have everything you need to step into the future.
Ghana, classic one. Ghana, number 1.
Hi, now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park. Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park. Our electric shuttle pulled up, and in no time, our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the eco park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown cranes, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults, this price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It has been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
Changing, so should you. If you're dreaming, don't be afraid. I'm in the valleys. Keep your head up high. Dare to dream with Puma drinks. Puma. Yeah, believe it, you can achieve. Puma. Clap your hands for the whole new vibe. Make we set the place. Oh yeah, come alive. Let me hear you.
Puma Drinks, a whole new vibe. Another quality product from Casa Precon.
This advert is FDA approved.
Let's do sports now on the AM show. My name is Haruna Mubarak. The segment is brought to you by Litina Travel and Tours 2026 Global Football Festival. Your Litina Travels package includes visa to watch all 3 group stage matches, 3 official match tickets, return charter flights, top-class hotel accommodation, travel insurance, and exclusive access to business networking events across all 3 host nations. Call 0244-260-7890 today or visit Litina at Alisa Hotel, Northridge, and secure your spot on this once-in-a-lifetime journey. To our first story, newly appointed Black Stars coach Carlos Queiroz has admitted managing the senior national team is his biggest challenge after working with 8 national teams, but he's ready to deliver. The 73-year-old has been hired on a 4-month deal as a replacement for Akufo-Addo until the end of the FIFA World Cup. The experienced coach, who has less than 50 days until the global showpiece, is tasked with stabilizing the team after 4 successive defeats under his predecessor, Akufo-Addo.
I know since I arrived, I start to feel it, that this is the soul of the Black Stars. Yesterday, I saw and I feel the vibration, and I start to realize that the soul of the Black Stars is huge. It is huge. So that means that our dream and expectations are also huge. I must say that after 8 national teams and a couple of important competitions, this is the biggest challenge of all my entire career. And I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that. I can promise and guarantee to you that I will bring 40 years of my knowledge and experience to every single decision of that. I am a coach, you can see my CV, that fortunately with the help of God and my players, I have a symbolic record of wins in the game in terms of international games, and in a humble way I can say I feel good on that. So I trust and I believe that with the support of my staff, support of the board, the support of the press, support of the friends and the fans, special, the supporters, all together, one Ghana, united, with cohesion and with a lot of ambition. I believe and I trust that we can do it. We can bring success and happiness to people. So, in a simple way, I can say to you, I feel ready. Are you ready also? Sorry, I didn't listen. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's do it together. Let's do it.
Before his unveiling to the press, Sports Minister Kofi-Addo welcomed the Portuguese coach and presented Fuguwe as a gift to the newly appointed trainer. Adams says Ghana is likely to have Queiroz as head coach as the Black Stars aim to reach the knockout phase at the World Cup for the first time since 2010.
He is rightly home. This is his real home, and and we are going to benefit heavily from him. Like the saying goes, the old wine tastes the best. He has gathered experience all over, as he told me himself. Many years of experience will now be put at the benefit of what? The great Black Star of Ghana. And so we are so lucky to have such an experienced coach, not just at the club level, but at the national level and at the World Cup stage. And so staff, senior and middle management level have the honor on behalf of all of us and the president of FA, who earlier introduced him to me, to present to you our new kid on the block, Carlos Queiroz. Thank you. Okay. Usually would have done you, but we think that the presentation is now. Next time you are going somewhere, you can now wear it and let them know that you have been integrated into Ghana. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the permission of His Excellency, the Sport Minister, I just want to say thank you. And thank you, in some moments, is a small word to express what I feel inside my heart, very small. To be part of the Sport Ghana family, it's an honor and a privilege for me, honor. I know, probably most of you know, that I have very strong African roots. I was born and raised in Africa, in Mozambique, so to lead this country, an African country, Ghana, during the World Cup, it's unforgettable memory in my life. So thank you very much. Thank you for your support. To be part of the sport family. If you allow me to say something, because I have a background also in sport and sports science, apart football, and we have a major responsibility in one country, because you guys are workers, builders of one special thing in the people, which is joy, happiness, and pride. No other minister have this responsibility to create entertainment and bring joy, happiness, and pride for the country. And that is not something that you can see, but is something that the people can feel. So good luck in your job. Thank you for your support, and to the future of Ghana. Thank you.
To Europe, Manchester United boss Michael Carrick has labelled comparisons to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer irrelevant, but he is no closer to learning whether his interim period will end in the same outcome. United Chiefs are still yet to decide whether Carrick will get the job permanently, despite putting them on course to qualify for the Champions League. Appointed as an interim boss in January, the former United midfielder has won 8 out of his 12 Premier League matches, firing the Red Devils to 3rd place with only 5 games to go.
I'm not sure, to be honest, and it's genuinely not something in terms of deadlines that I'm really chasing. I think it'll become clear when it's going to become clear, and I'm here at the moment to help the team and help the club get results. And at the moment, we're doing all right. We're doing all right. We can keep pushing and getting better. So really, that's genuinely all I'm focused on right now.
Afternoon, Michael. You talk about enjoying the role so far. I know there's a lot of football to go as well, but so far, what have you enjoyed most about your return so far? Being a player for so long, has any part of the job surprised you? I wouldn't necessarily think surprised. Kind of been here for quite some time and seen quite a lot. Some ups and some downs, so you kind of experience helps you a lot in situations, you know. So I wouldn't say being surprised by it. Working with the players is what I enjoy, you know, and that's a big kind of passion of helping them develop and then ultimately getting results and sharing with the supporters. You know, when you get important wins and big wins and you have moments to enjoy them moments, it's what we're all here for, right? In the end, so got to make the most of them as well. Just on terms of the job long term, when it is brought outside the walls of Carrington, skeptics kind of bring up Ollie's time at the club in terms of comparisons to your term at the moment. Just wonder your thoughts on that comparison, but also, do you find maybe that discussion sometimes disrespectful to maybe your own development as a coach over the last few years, but also to a good friend in Ollie as well?
I don't think it's disrespectful. I think I've got the utmost respect for him. He's a close friend of mine, so and I worked closely with him when he was here. So I was quite attached to that, and I thought we did a lot of good things really, and became close. And in the end, obviously, it changed and it went a different direction. That's football. I think comparisons you could compare to all sorts of different situations and managers and coaches and teams over the years. It just depends on what you want to choose to compare, but it's irrelevant really. It really is, and that's not a negative or a positive. It doesn't really have any link at all. I think we're a different team now, irrespective of me, who's in charge. It's a different team, it's a different time, so I don't really think comparisons literally make any difference at all.
Now, Manchester City midfielder Rodri has praised the never-give-up spirit of his side as they chase the Premier League title. City leapfrogged Arsenal on goals scored to the summit of the table after beating Burnley with 5 games remaining until the end of the season.
We always know that we know how we behave when we play in the last part of the year. Of course, if you arrive into a point that you are too far, you're not able to catch them. But in the way we were doing things, we know that we will have our, as you say, our momentum in that last part of the year, and we didn't give up. I remember many games, Liverpool, tough games that we ain't winning. That maybe if you drop in that moment, or you say everything is lost or whatever, you wouldn't arrive to this moment like we are. So we never drop our hands. We always believe in ourselves, and right now we're in a position that we were able to go for it.
Is that because of the mentality of the team? As you say, you always seem to get strong or become stronger at this stage of the season. Is it? We call it muscle memory. Is it that too?
Yeah, of course. We know that is the important time of the year, but also is a mentality of never giving up. Both ways, because around the year we have ups and downs, and it's important that in the downs you don't go so down. And this is something that has been important for this team in the last years, that we've been suffering sometimes, but we suffer together and we go through the situations. And I think this is the way we deal with these things.
Do you feel closer as a team than you were last season? Because that was, it was a down season, if you like, but you also did finish strongly, didn't you, last season?
Yeah,
so do you feel...
Season we didn't have the chance to win it, we were too far.
Okay, but do you feel closer as a team this season now?
We feel, of course, we have experience of what happened last year, of what the things we have to improve, and I think we did it this year, even though that the league is very difficult. You see every weekend how tough it is to beat the teams, but yeah, I think we improve in many aspects. It's the only way to win things, improving for what we did in the past, and this is what the team has done.
Well, Man City will not be in action as far as this weekend is concerned. They will face Southampton in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. In the other game as well, we've got Chelsea, who will come up against Leeds United. But of course, the Premier League continues. We've got Sunderland, who will take on Nottingham Forest as well. Fulham, they take on Aston Villa. Liverpool, as far as their chase for Champions League is concerned, they come up against Crystal Palace. West Ham take on Everton. Wolves will host Spurs, who are in the relegation zone. Arsenal will be hoping to return to the summit of the table when they come up against Newcastle United. And of course, Manchester United will hope to consolidate their top 4 hopes as they host Brentford at Old Trafford. And that's how we wrap up the sports segment on the AM show. My name is Haruna Mubarak. Have a good morning.
Welcome to Malcolm, where shopping is a musical experience for all generations. Grannies, let's roll it back.
Malcolm got now we did for you. Malcolm's got it all for me. Life made so easy, peasy, lemon squeezy, shopping made easy. Sometimes money day, sometimes some way out of budget. Malcolm season. The price is right.
The price is right.
The price is nice.
The price is nice.
Fresh with the vibes, unbeatable. Do the price they fly.
Do the price they fly.
Your number one stop shop, number one. Your number one stop shop, Malcolm. Malcolm got now we did for you. Malcolm's got it all for me and you.
No matter the generation you belong to, Malcolm is where Ghana shops.
Bring back home the experience.
Bring home the experience.
Cadbury hot chocolate. Crafted from cocoa, milk, and sugar. Creamy, chocolatey, frothy goodness, rich taste, so satisfying.
Cadbury goodness, the treats you deserve every day.
Hi, now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park.
Our electric shuttle pulled up, and in no time our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the eco park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown cranes, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults?
This price for teenagers. And this for kids.
It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It's been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
Eye bribi kitua bi na yede bo nya yedo ho ban. Ohwepa enye dede na emu eni se obenya bre ahweyie ne enioma kitua bi a yebeye no yie.
Oja ashwaye she asefremeso na hwe me huye de biara.
Good Conduct, Great Life is brought to you by
Indomie.
Tastes great.
More Kivo inside. Kivo Gary Soaking Mix. Taste of Ghana.
Across Ghana, in communities big and small, ordinary people are doing extraordinary things. This is the Joy News Impact Makers Awards 2026, celebrating those who are changing lives, shaping futures, and building hope. From Bimbila in the northern region, Faith Jakpasu is transforming classrooms through innovation, inclusive learning, and life-changing initiatives for students, teachers, and vulnerable communities. From Aflao in the Volta region, Felix Akakbo is building schools, supporting students, and investing in the future of an entire community. In health, from Winneba in the central region, Amos Ando is turning his personal battle with sickle cell into a national movement for awareness, prevention, and policy change. From Nkwanta in the Oti region, Bless Lantam is delivering life-changing healthcare to hard-to-reach communities, even in the face of conflict. From Insawamed Wedri in the eastern region, Antonio Say is restoring mobility, dignity, and opportunity through prosthetics and outreach across Ghana. From Adenta in the Greater Accra region, Valerie Ajatia is empowering amputees with hope, rehabilitation, and the courage to rebuild their lives. From Anyanui and Noga in the Volta region, Reverend Christian Valeto is rescuing, treating, and reintegrating neglected mental health patients back into society. From Akuse in the eastern region, Alberta Aite is mentoring, educating, and empowering over 1,000 girls to dream beyond limitations. From Breku in the central region, Isabella Akwabwa fighting period poverty and equipping women and girls with skills for independence. In Wash, from Sirigu in the Upper East region, Dr. Anthony Akunzele is improving livelihoods through clean water, education, and economic opportunities for women. From Akache in the Volta region, Senyor Bomita is transforming communities through schools, clean water, healthcare access, and youth empowerment. And for the Corporate Partner Award from the Cape Coast Youth Development Association is empowering thousands of young people through education, skills training, and community development. These are not just finalists. These are change makers. They are nation builders. They are Ghana's true heroes. Join News Impact Makers Awards is brought to you by CEO Summit, Labadi Beach Hotel, Ayuda, Ghana's #1 services app, Abakun Services Bibri, New Crystal Hospital, growing in good health, Silas Enterprise, where quality meets affordability, Water Aid Ghana, change starts with water, Ghana Chamber of Mines. When Ghana faced the devastating no-birth syndrome crisis in 2018, the nation watched in anguish, patients turned away, lives hanging in the balance. Yet one question lingered. How could a fully built hospital remain empty? As pressure mounted, one man was called to do the impossible, to bring the University of Ghana Medical Center to life. That man is Dr. Darius Kofiose, a leader defined by results, building some of Ghana's most respected healthcare institutions.
I was the only person who was parking my car there. There was no car. But now when I get there, I had to beg them to give me a parking space.
His journey was shaped by hardship, setbacks, and a life-changing moment. A monkey bite that first took him to a TBA hospital, the very place that would later define his path.
No, in fact, TBA is what made me, and I've learned something that humility opens the door for a lot of things.
This Friday on PM Personality Profile, Dr. Darius Kofiose tells his story in his own words. Don't miss it.
If you must listen to music, what kind of genre will you listen to? Do you know Daddy Lumba?
Oh yeah, I know Daddy Lumba. Daddy Lumba. In fact, it was his music that we used for our wedding.
Everything has meaning, but not everything is as it seems. For every story told, there are versions of the truth.
We can't afford to look at this, the numbers that have been presented, and say, we are tired, it's the same old issue. No, somebody should be prosecuted.
Every opinion can be debated. Every claim can be challenged. Even the idea of the national interest can and must be interrogated.
This is the date it was. This was the date it was printed from the system.
That is what
What is he talking about?
Because sometimes the real facts are buried deep within layers of interpretation. So we ask the harder questions. We test every claim. We raise the standard of public discourse and place every issue on the altar of unbiased scrutiny. This is Newsfile, your most authoritative news analysis platform. And here on Newsfile, we put Ghana first.
We stand beneath you. What are you doing?
Newsfile with Samson Ladi Anyanini. On Joy News, independent, fearless, and credible.
It is a beautiful morning here at the Bonchemim Hall in Techiman. But this is no ordinary gathering. Students who have been carrying the heavy weight of unpaid fees are here to lay that burden down. Honorable Martin Agyeman-Rawlings, the MP for Techiman South, has just released the latest round of funding through the MyCam Foundation. As of the first quarter of the year alone, nearly 150 students have received assistance, with over 1,000 more having benefited over time.
Today's program is something I do annually, about twice each year, first quarter and the last quarter. And it's various requests from students in tertiary education who have sought some support from my office to support the education. We do this because it becomes difficult for students at the tertiary level to cope with the costs, especially with the fees. This first quarter, we've had about 150 students bringing in their requests for support, and various amounts of money is being given. So with a range of about 1,500 to 3,000, we are giving out these monies, depending on the course or the program being offered by the students.
But the MP's vision for education in Techiman South goes beyond fee payments. He also wants to honor those who shape young minds every day. He announced the rebirth of the MyCamp Teacher Awards, noting that the best teacher, as usual, will go home with a brand new vehicle.
This year, that program is also coming on, where we try to stimulate some competition amongst the teachers to challenge them to give up their best. And it's been quite helpful. And so we are hoping to continue with this year, where the best or the overall best teacher at this very premises will be given an award. He or she will walk home with a vehicle, a brand new vehicle, and then some other 25 to 30 awardees will also get various categories of awards. And so we are paying a lot of attention to education. In spite of the numerous things being done in the constituency, we want to make sure that education is prioritized.
For many beneficiaries, the student support is more than a check. It is a second chance. One of them is Ametepe Stephen, a student whose biggest headache had become a daily nightmare.
The headache has been that our parents, particularly my parents, find it difficult to, as well, afford tertiary fees. And so going into this 2025-26 academic year has been that, where am I going to get money to afford my tertiary bills? So coming into force of this particular scheme, I told myself that, that this is going to be my angel. And so this one came in readily available for me to offset any cost that I'm supposed to incur.
Across the hall, other students also shared their excitements and thanked the Member of Parliament for the support.
What I would say is not all MPs or not all people would have done this or would do this for the constituency. So once this is coming from him, we say a very big thank you to him for this support, and we pray that whatever he engages in will be successful.
And for the hundreds gathered at the Bunchemim Hall today, that promise of fees paid, of teachers rewarded, and of brand new vehicle for the best educator is already becoming a reality. Anna Sabit, Joy News, Techiman.
I was born at Jachi. Lived all my life under military dictatorship. Knew about the curfews, whereby 6 p.m. you have to sleep, whether you like it or not. Those were the turbulent years in Ghana. I remember somebody asking Agyeman-Rawlings that, when are you handing over? And he famously said, hand over to whom? When I passed the common entrance, they gave me a prospectus. Never seen a prospectus before. I was the first in the family to go to secondary school. I had to pay 40 cedis as a deposit, but it was difficult for my father to secure 40 cedis. I used to sell kerosene. I remember a familiar one, a woman close to my house who bought a kerosene, which I still don't think she paid because when I go there, so come the next time, when you go on Friday evening, then say, oh, it's Sabbath. So when it's Sabbath, they don't touch money.
Across Ghana, in communities big and small, ordinary people are doing extraordinary things. This is the Joy News Impact Makers Awards 2026, celebrating those who are changing lives, shaping futures, and building hope. From Bimbila in the northern region, Faith Jakpasu is transforming classrooms through innovation, inclusive learning, and life-changing initiatives for students, teachers, and vulnerable communities. From Aflao in the Volta region, Felix Akakpo is building schools, supporting students, and investing in the future of an entire community. In health, from Winneba in the central region, Amos Ando is turning his personal battle with sickle cell into a national movement for awareness, prevention, and policy change. From Nkwanta in the Oti region, Bless Lantam is delivering life-changing healthcare to hard-to-reach communities, even in the face of conflict. From Insawame Dwejiri in the eastern region, Antonio Say is restoring mobility, dignity, and opportunity through prosthetics and outreach across Ghana. From Adenta in the Greater Accra region, Valerie Ajatia is empowering amputees with hope, rehabilitation, and the courage to rebuild their lives. From Anyanui and Noga in the Volta region, Reverend Christian Valeto is rescuing, treating, and reintegrating neglected mental health patients back into society. From Akuse in the eastern region, Alberta Aite is mentoring, educating, and empowering over 1,000 girls to dream beyond limitations. From Singabreku in the central region, Isabella Akwabwa fighting period poverty and equipping women and girls with skills for independence. In Wash, from Sirigu in the Upper East region, Dr. Anthony Akunzele is improving livelihoods through clean water, education, and economic opportunities for women. From Akache in the Volta region, Senior Gwamita is transforming communities through schools, clean water, healthcare access, and youth empowerment. And for the Corporate Partner Award from the Cape Coast Youth Development Association is empowering thousands of young people through education, skills training, and community development. These are not just finalists. These are change makers. They are nation builders. They are Ghana's true heroes. Joy News Impact Makers Awards, celebrating ordinary people making extraordinary impacts. Who takes this home?
The 2026 Joy News Impact Makers Awards is brought to you by CEO Summit, Labadi Beach Hotel, Ayuda, Ghana's #1 services app, Abakun Services Brewery, New Crystal Hospital, Growing in Good Health, Silas Enterprise, where quality meets affordability, Water Aid Ghana, change starts with water, Ghana Chamber of Mines.
Once again, and welcome to the AM show. Time for us to go into matters arising segment, but let's start with what the papers are reporting this morning. You know what? I heard my producers say, what win can you win to this story? Well, Ghana's new coach, Black Stars coach, says, I'm here to win. Carlos Queiroz, at his unveiling yesterday, promised that he's going to win. He says, we're controlling a lot of coaches, right? But he's going to do his best. So let's see how it goes, and we will all support him with our best to ensure that Black Stars go far. Because when we go farther in the World Cup, it helps all of us as a country. Governor urges shift from diaspora remittances to investment. That's also a story there. All set to celebrate Asante as pillar of peace. That's on page 22 and 27. Now, you know this man. When it comes to pharmacy in Ghana, you won't talk without mentioning him. Tobinko, Elder Tobing. He is urging increased government support for pharmaceutical industry. Stories on page 20 of the Daily Graphic. At the back page of the Daily Graphic, it says, take active role in fighting misinformation, disinformation. Dr. Agyeman-Rawlings speaks, and DVLA uncovers widespread fake and expired DV number plates, warns of impending prosecutions. That story is there as well. Let's do other papers here. Okay, maybe I will help me from the back. So those are the stories in the Daily Graphic today. Let's do Daily Guide. Government backs NLA KGL contract. Director General is speaking. You remember this deal when the government came in? There were a lot of stories about how bad this was, and the government should review. Government were made to understand that it's backing that particular deal. Now, OSP challenges no power to prosecute order. In the aftermath of this whole High Court ruling, you know, the CSOs have been urged OSP. After OSP gave the indication that he will challenge it, now we understand that he will be challenging that one. We are not illegal miners, angry Nzima youth to other most resources. Ghana among U.S. car theft destinations. Hey, interesting. Shift operations to local contractors, government to mining firms. But the mining firms have been saying that this is already a discussion that has been going on. They want to see how they can give contracts to local companies. But government is backing this, and minority, we understand, backs that one as well. Let's do other papers here. Insight. Okay, let's do publisher. Angry Otumfuo slams ministers over Sampa. The story is on page 2. Pass anti-LGBTQ bill in current form, Tampuli says. And Gabriel Tanko Atokble was not declared wanted. Yoko is clarifying. And His Excellency Gabriel Tanko Atokble is the Council of State member from the Volta region. You remember the story that came up some time ago. He secured some High Court injunction, and now the Yoko is explaining that he was not declared wanted. Okay, get details on page 2 of the publisher, the Ghanaian publisher. Chiefs gave government 7-day ultimatum over 1 billion cedis buoy compensation. That is there. And today, I guess, is the birthday of the Chief of Staff. 60 years today. So the publisher, the Ghanaian publisher, is celebrating him. So 60 years of life, 60 years of purpose, 60 years of national impact. Today, we honor Honorable Julius Deborah, a leader whose journey continues to inspire. Happy birthday, sir. So happy birthday to the Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah. Wherever you are, sir, do have a great day as you go through today. All right. Let's do other papers here. The News Guide Africa Visionary Leadership. Dr. Abe steering Ghana towards a new era of cocoa value addition. Those are the stories there. Okay. News Center. 30% of gold bought surplus to assist small-scale miners. Story was on page 6, so that's the story there. You can read it and understand. From IGP Porteria, Kwe dies after illness. Oh. Our condolences to the bereaved families there. And Galamsey outpaces slavery harm. Hey. Wow, okay. All right, I've heard some people talking about that the harm that Galamsey is causing outpaces slavery, and pediatricians call on Mahama to declare state of emergency. now. Okay. All right. So that is the story there. And also, Nestle, for good initiative launched in Ghana, and MTN Masterclass blends wellness with wealth creation. I want to start the discussion from here. Galamsey outpaces slavery harm. Let me introduce to you my guest, Professor Bwedi, is the Dean of the Faculty of Accounting and Finance at UPSA. Prof, good morning to you. Sounds all good?
Very well.
Okay.
Yourself?
I'm well. You know.
Yeah, well, last week we were not here. So.
Yeah, last week I was here.
Oh, you were here. We were not.
Yeah. You were not. Yes. And the dad of the God of VP. The dad come out himself. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey. Everything good?
Everything good.
Anyway, let's start from here. Galamsey outpaces slavery harm. I mean, is it hard to agree with this? Because the pediatricians who see patients on a daily basis, they are calling on President Mahama to declare a state of emergency now, from what they see.
So let me wish your lovely viewers a good morning. Let me wish my brother, Professor, a good morning, yourself, a good morning. Wish the people of Ghana a good morning. I think the pediatrician who made this comparison couldn't have put it better. I think there's no argument as to the fact that Galamsey still is an existential threat. When we say an existential threat, we are talking about something, an activity that can affect the existence of human beings themselves. I don't think he could have placed it better because slavery, we all know the impacts of slavery. We are still suffering from the impacts of slavery. Mm-hmm. Yeah. To the extent that recently we made a lot of noise about the call for reparations. Yes, but you see, that's how serious the Galamsey issue is. And when you look at it from the perspective that the doctor is saying, then you can't escape the disappointment with how, or with the fundamental lack of commitment being exhibited by our politicians. As our politicians, I'm not talking about MPNDs, all of them. Because, yes, in 2024, there were calls for demonstration. I personally called that we demonstrated until Anado, what's it called? Step down.
Declared.
Step down. Yeah, because I feel that one of the fundamental duties of the president from our constitution is the duty that is placed on him by reason of the creation in him as a trust in relation to our natural resources. And one of the fundamental duties of a trust is to protect the property and all the incidents of the property. Yeah, you understand? So that if we have placed in the president a trust over the exploitation of our natural resources, then impliedly, there's also a trust created in him in terms of ensuring that we exploit these resources in a sustainable manner, in a manner that would not lead to this existential threat. Now, you know that in Galamsey, which is simply as people mining one without license, or mining outside of the scope of their license, or using unlawful and illegal mining practices to mine. So if Galamsey also includes an activity that essentially is stealing the trust property, and the persons in whom a trust has been given, and that person is the president, and we cannot find a solution because of a fundamental lack of commitment.
So why are you not calling on President Mahama to step down then?
No, so he's been in power for a year and a half. Mm-hmm. I'm still not convinced about the methods he's using. Now the question is, am I convinced that he slept enough or he's not placing enough effort just over a period of 1.5 years? I don't think so. Because when Anado came, in spite of the fact that he said that he was going to place his presidency on the line, we all saw that way. But by the end of his first term, he had failed in terms of the fight against Galamsey. But we didn't call on him to step down. We felt that this is a battle, this is a war that obviously cannot be won over a course of a year or two. So by the 7th year, I'm coming. So by the 7th year, because that call was made on him in September. I made that call on him in September 2024. After almost the end of his tenure, you get a picture. Now they've created 9 months. Clearly, the battle isn't being won. The question is, am I convinced after just a year and a half that the president cannot do anything to the extent that I'll give up on him? I don't think so. No, I haven't gotten to that point. But that does not mean that there's still a fundamental deficit in our efforts to deal with Galamsey. And you see, and the problem, in my opinion, stems from the fact that the perpetrators of Galamsey are essentially the political actors, the political apparatchiks. You understand? So the way I see it, when let's say party, when MPP was in power, largely the Galamsey was done by the MPP apparatchiks. And there are enough evidence to suggest that as of today, members in the NDC have taken over and they are doing the Galamsey. I recall that last year, I think their organizer, what's his name?
The fair guy.
Yeah, the fair guy. And I think one of their vice presidents, Abanga.
No, second vice.
Second vice. Yeah.
Chairman.
I think
the matter came up.
The matter came up.
The president recommended to the CID also to investigate the matter.
So how far with that? I think we should follow up with that. How far with that? Because you see, we cannot purport to prosecute Chimawuntumi over allegations of Galamsey, and where people who are in the NDC, a call has been made that investigation be done upon them. We do not hear any information as to what is happening there. Because that is the biggest, in my opinion, problem in our battle against Galamsey. We need to have the president show fidelity to the terms of one the oath he took. He took an oath to be faithful to Ghana. And I think that fidelity, that call for fidelity will be shown if he's seen to be prosecuting people in his party who have actually done Galamsey. You understand? So Abanga and then the
national organizer.
We are calling the president to tell us something, to give us info. The CID or the AG, whoever, what is happening with their investigation. You recall that sometime last year. In fact, I think Joy, you put me or one of your sister stations brought up a story about a company in Obuasi that had genuinely acquired a concession. And NDC members practically drove them out of their concession and took over. You understand? What is happening with all those issues? You understand? Well, trust me, if we reach a point where we realize that the efforts at fighting Galamsey is the usual sham, let's do something to represent something, then yes, in the spirit of consistency, a call must be made on His Excellency Jomama to step down also.
But if you look at the society of the Patriotic Society of Ghana, they say that at the heart of the argument is a chilling warning that illegal mining is inflicting irreversible damage, not only on current population, but also on future generations. For example, the impact on children, on babies that we've seen. So mustn't that state of emergency be declared for us to save people?
So we all called the president to declare a state of emergency. The president said he had enough arsenal, you understand, within his system to fight. Because usually when you call a state of emergency, then the believers, you've reached your wit's end, and right now you must create a system where you'll be granted extraordinary powers outside of to then deal with the issue. Now, ever since the president made that argument, are we convinced? Are we the people of Ghana convinced that indeed he has enough powers as things stands now to deal with the Galamsey issue? So you have 9 months. That's what I'm saying, that as for the effects of Galamsey, there cannot be an argument over them. I've seen reports that some water bodies are what's called recovering. Oh, I've seen reports. I think you are in the what's called Cobra. That's what I said. We've seen reports. Yeah, you understand. We've seen reports. Now, clearly, if they can't fight, and well, from what I'm certain, there's something that suggests that indeed we are fighting the Galamsey issue with the seriousness that requires. Because we are talking about something whose effect is existential. You're talking about an activity that disturbs the ecosystem. You're talking about an activity, you understand, that places in our water bodies and into our environment hard metals like mercury, lead and all. So yes, I feel from what I'm saying now, I think we shouldn't sleep on our call on the president to declare that state of emergency. But from where I'm sitting, like I said, I do not see us winning that battle. And there are key issues here. That's what I'm saying, that if we are prosecuting Chairman Wontumi for allegations that he engaged in Galamsey, then we must also be serious with investigations concerning senior NDC members. Yes, who the president himself called for investigation to be. So they should tell us. The investigation that the president asked the CID to conduct on Abanga and to how far. You see, they should give us some report, because I'm telling you, once we have a president who has the courage, the cojones, to deal with the Galamseyers in his party, senior men in his party who are engaged in Galamsey, then the battle will be so easy. Because imagine they do an honest investigation. I'm not saying anybody is a suspect. And then that honest investigation shows that indeed Amanga and I don't know why I have forgotten his name.
I'm also shocked.
What's called are indeed engaged in Galamsey, and there's an honest prosecution that leads to a conviction. Do you know the message it would have sent? Okay, yes, right. So ordinary people who are engaged in Galamsey will simply tell themselves that if this regime has managed to convict senior members in their party who are engaged in Galamsey, you understand, then we should think about this activity. Will serve as enough deterrent. So I'm calling on the president that in the spirit of the oath you took to Ghana, you took when he was being sworn in, to be faithful to Ghana, you understand, to defend, preserve, and protect the laws of Ghana, to dedicate himself to the well-being of Ghana. He must wage an unrelenting war on Galamsey. And that unrelenting war will never be won if he does not deal with the NDC members, the senior NDC members engaged in this devilish activity. If he does not do that, then I can assure all and sundry that by next year, the kind of pressure we give Nanado, the call that he steps down, that same call will be made on him.
Okay, all right. Let me bring in Professor Bodia. But Prof, the Church of Pentecost has been speaking about this today. In fact, that they say now there can't be baptism in some of these areas where Galamsey has, taken over and has destroyed river bodies. So I want you to look at from the church's point of view, on, looking at the impact of Galamsey and what needs to be done now.
Yes, please, good morning, and good morning to my colleague as well. I've enjoyed this submission.
So all this real submission is only to the you have enjoyed.
Well, I've enjoyed this submission, the call on the president to ensure that we have, if we continue with the fight on Galamsey. Previous administration could have done better with the fight on Galamsey. The former administration. Several attempts were made, but were not successful on that fight. Today, because the administration or the former president could not deal with that situation, he was given a boot. Left the administration. And I can say the horse has bolted. So we can now focus on this current regime. Looking at the previous, before assuming office, manifesto. If you go back and check the manifesto of this administration, I think number 19 of economic, and I'm sure the environmental issues, said, I'll ban all illegal mining activities within, I think, 100 days, if you remember. Now, he assumes office. It will be suicidal for anybody to say they have not seen any attempt of this administration in the fight against galamsey. And let me put this on record, that when the president assumed office in January 7th, 2025, we targeted the repealing of that law, the LI 2462. Then we have 3 for life arrest zone forest reserve, with 26 arrested and some arrests made in the first 5 months, and 1,300 arrests, Tandem River pilot land reviewed. So, Brace, just to give you an account, because it will be unethical to say that we have not seen any attempt from this administration. There is a difference between effort and results. You can do all the things you want to do. It translates into what? What I want to see is there's a clean water that I can drink from, just as it used to be. Is that what we are seeing? So we see Ghana's natural resources systematically under siege. And the commitment or the effort of this administration, for me, we have not been aggressive enough on the fight against galamsey. That is the result. That's all that we are talking about. On Monday, we organized a press conference at the Accra International Conference Center by the Institute of IRPP. We gave the scale of destruction, our forest, our natural resources. If you consider about 50 to 70 of our water bodies contaminated. 50, that's a report, between 60 to 70 of our water bodies contaminated. If you check in terms of revenue that we are losing, it's about 2.5. Now, Ghana Water Company had come out to declare that they are finding it difficult to treat the water that we drink. The president himself tells us that his own people, some party affiliates, some traditional rulers are found in this. So if a president makes such a statement, it tells you the fight is beyond him. We also critique or we criticize the silence of the CSOs, the voice of conscience, who previously had held the neck of the other administration to declare the state of emergency. I didn't support the state of emergency declaration at that time. And in terms of principle, I still stand by the same idea.
You don't want the state of emergency. But the Pediatric Society says we needed to safeguard the population.
I'm coming back to that. But the point is that what are other mechanisms, what are other solutions that we have to solve this problem? With declaration of that state, will it give the result that we are talking about? But for me, my issue is that those who were championing such the cause, the voice of conscience, why the definite silence of all these individuals? That was our concern as an institute. We don't hear them again. Where are they?
But now the Church of Pentecost is speaking, for example.
But you just said me.
I'll come back to that. Where are they? We did it. For a very long time, we had not heard all these individuals. And I was on one of your radio stations that said that sometimes when the mouth is full, you don't talk. Is that what is happening? And interesting, someone also told me that if you're angry, you roar. You become angry, you talk more. So we don't know the genetic you find it sometimes. But the point is that we should have a better way of solving this. It must be seen to be active and deliberate in fighting this menace. Other than that, and now we've had the chairman of the Church of Pentecost, with the publication yesterday. When I read, I was happy. And for me, he has shown the way. We are calling on the rest of our leaders, the Assemblies of God, the Apostolic, the Imams, the rest, to follow suit. Because now it's not about economic value or GDP or the revenue, the impact of Galamsey on revenue. That's not. It's about the cost of human lives. So if illegal activity could disrupt baptism, then it has gotten to the core of the community. If you cannot use good water to baptize people, then there's a problem. It has gone to the core. And that's why all of us, we are concerned. That it's not a matter of being on a platform and tell everybody that I want to fight. Are you not surprised, Praise, if a president tells you, I know some people who are involved in this, how many of us question our president? Please, can you name those people?
I know.
I was expecting all the CEOs and the rest to have asked him. Name them. And tell us the action you've taken about this. Because there's one thing telling us you know them and go back to sleep. But if you don't take action, what happens? So we have an issue. If you don't understand what is happening, bro, go to Kolebu. We always must appreciate our doctors who are working over there. The cases that they are recording every day, you'll be shocked. And sometimes when you visit Kolebu, you have a different mentality. When you come back to town, you have a different, that's what is happening. Because if you are to bring all our political leaders to go to Kolebu to see what is happening, I'm sure the fight will have a solution to this problem.
I'm grateful. Let's move to the audit. I'll start with you there because your institute has done some work on it. The payroll fraud, something I've seen you publish some report out there.
Yeah.
I mean, how do we curtail these things? Because it's like a recurring something. How do we curtail it?
If you don't know the cause of anything, it's difficult to provide solution to that. This report you've talked about, the Institute, we've done a comprehensive report on that, and we'll be having a press very soon on this whole thing. It cuts across different regimes. It started from January 2023 all the way to 2025 in June. The Auditor General sends about 209 staff to conduct this simple audit. And it's a nationwide payroll audit. And I was of the view that they could have done year by year, and that's what I think they do all the time. But this time around, they decided to do across different regimes, which for me, it gives a global picture of how we should tackle this whole matter. It's not the first time, just as we said. It's been happening all the time, the irregularities, amount that we pay to ghost people and all that. It's not the first time. But I'm concerned about the quantum, the amount of money that the country we are losing in terms of revenue. I read one article by the minister, I think the Bank of Ghana, the governor, that we have not been able to get the revenue that we needed, and therefore we have reduced our expenditure portion. But the point is that if you don't get more revenue, the wisest thing to do is to cut your expenditure. So I don't see anything wrong with it. But this is where we are having issues with. Total irregularities within the same period, 2023 to 2025, 190 million. When we talk about total irregularities, we are talking about those acts intentionally or unintentionally will affect, funds, the usage of funds. That's all that we are looking at. So we are talking about errors, we are talking about fraud issue parts. The total gives you the figure we are talking about. And Grace, let me just give you a figure here that I chanced on. Payroll irregularities. payment of unearned salaries to separated or discontinued staff is about 130 million Ghana cedi, which is about 68% of the total 190 figure I gave you. These are payments that from the period from 2023 to 2025, 130 million, 31 million cedis paid on earned salaries. What does that mean? Those people that we give money to, that we don't even know them, but they are still there. Every month, we pay them, we give them funds. Ineligible payment of allowance. Nurses posted to private hospitals. Nurses who have been posted to private hospitals, but they seem being paid a quantum of about 7.9 million paid to them, same period. Wrong placement on salary scales, 7.3. Then we have unapproved study leave with pay. I hope you understand this context. Unapproved. If I want to go on study leave, and it needs to be approved. But these individuals, unapproved study leave would pay. Then we have non-existing schools, ghost schools, a team of about 2.6 million paid. Non-existing schools, ghost schools. Now, the issue is that if you look at all these numbers, it gives you an idea. What do we do as a country when we are talking about revenue leakages? Now, backdated assumption of duty, 1.9. Resignation without prior notice, 800 million.
It what?
No, 800,000. 800,000.
So they resign without prior notice.
Yes.
And they are still paid?
They've been paid.
Okay.
Yeah. You see, when you get auditors' reports and you want to read, sometimes it's bulky and therefore difficult to even to read. So we brush it off often. We'll talk about it a few days and we are gone. But when you take your time to go into the document itself, line by line, you have your heart in your mouth. You'll be surprised to see how much as a country we are losing. Staff with double staff identification numbers. Staff with double staff identification numbers. That's still being paid. It's still there.
So if they have double staff numbers, I mean they're being paid double. That's what
it means. And these are documents that we didn't produce the document from the Auditor General's report. An exercise conducted between 20. So we are not talking about which government. No, that's not the discussions here. Irregular suspend account refund, that one. Then payment of double salary, 199,000. In total, you're looking at 190 million.
For the irregularities?
Yes, covered. Can we sit unconcerned? And you ask a good question. What can we do to avert all this? Sometimes when we come and questions are thrown to us, and we are asked to proffer solutions, the unfortunate part is that those who mind our country, who are giving resources, they are not asked the same question, no, to provide solutions. We are the ones who are to give solutions, but that is fine. You allow them to go free. The point is that when we forward, do they even listen? It's your right to ask that question. Do they even listen? You have a system. How do you pay salaries? And yesterday, the controller, I think there was a press conference on your portal, reacting to some of these issues. People have been given a chance to talk. But if you hear the feedback from those who were caught in this act, read from the book And it's surprised the responses given based on these irregularities. How do you solve this?
Which one amounts to the 180 million? A senior of mine wants some clarification. You mentioned 108 million.
180 million.
108 million. Which irregularity is that one?
I don't know which one they're talking about because I have a figure of the 15 million happens to be that of on self-bond term.
Okay, that's 15 million.
Yeah, I can go through the numbers.
And the total
is 190 million.
Okay,
not 800 million.
No, that one we can talk about that. Because it was 130 something million then. So, yeah, I'm talking about irregularity. We'll come to that part. We are talking about the irregularities found in the auditor's report.
Okay.
Yes.
When it comes to payment of salaries.
Yeah, payrolls.
Okay, yeah. So that's the payroll irregularity there. Yeah, lawyer. My bit is about how we can block all these loopholes. Because these are monies that could be channeled into, for example, completing Agenda 111 in Bukro for my people to go for healthcare.
You see, about a month ago, we came here and we discussed the fundamental failure of Ghana to meet the basic requirements, the WHO basic requirements about emergency beds. Whereas the standard was five beds per 1,000 population.
Mm-hmm.
Ghana was
for emergency.
Yes. We are doing about 0.5, and we said that whereas Ghana needed almost about 269,000 emergency beds, we had just about less than
200 or so.
Yeah, very some ridiculous figure. Mm-hmm. Okay, we have an economy that cannot create jobs. Economy won't create jobs because government does not use its fiscal policy to aid small and medium scale enterprises. We have an economy where our children can't get good schools to go to. We still have the issue of schools under trees. No, so. Tuesday I drove from, in fact, over the weekend, last weekend, I went to Kumasi and came back. And the deplorable state of our roads. You understand? Right now, we have an energy crisis because beyond the fact that we are unable to deal with the financial issues there, there's a need for government to spend money to change our transformers. We have a country where the fundamental promises of democracy has not been met. And yet, an audit can tell us that between the period of January 2023 to June 2025, we lost almost over 800 million Ghana cedis. 800 million Ghana cedis through an issue that I refuse to call an irregularity. This is not an irregularity.
So the 800 million is our total irregularities for the year.
It's not an irregularity.
No, I mean, how they captured it.
You asked my opinion, and I'm saying that I don't want to. I don't want to hear that word. You see, basically, we hear that word.
Okay. So take my irregularity away. For instance, I'm 190. I just want a difference between them.
Stealing, systematic stealing. Systematic stealing is happening. And it's happened for a very long time. It happened when we had a president who rightly told us that one of his fundamental jobs was to protect the public purse. Even though he said it's not just his duty, it's the duty of all presidents, the duty of anybody we've put in a position of leadership to protect the public purse. And yet, 800 million, a country that is poor because of stealing. What should we do? We need to start prosecuting. You see, we run a system where there's no consequences for actions. People know that when I steal, I'll get away with it.
And that's why they steal.
Yeah, that's what the fund. In fact, that's the fund. You see, we don't need to. You can talk technical You see the Galamsey issue, all the issues that we are facing is because there's a fundamental lack of commitment to enforce the laws of Ghana. That's all. A fundamental lack of commitment to enforce. You see, when you were saying about over 60,000 people were paid who they do not know. And I find that strange because for a country with people who are inherently scared of ghosts, let's say this night, go somewhere and say, hey, somebody, you see people run away. And yet we love to create ghosts so that we will steal money. For a country filled with people who are scared. We are scared of ghosts. When we were young, were you not scared? They told you stories of ghosts. We are scared of ghosts. And yet, we don't mind creating ghosts to steal money. Yes, we create ghosts, we create some money to steal money. I started hearing of ghost names for over 20 years now. Every year, we hear ghost names, ghost names, ghost names. The National Service case. Does that not also include the creation of ghosts to steal money? We are a joke. I'm saying that, listen, we have a system where people want power. They go around campaign for power. They beg the people of Ghana for power. And what do we do with the power? When we get the power, we use the power to create ghosts so that we steal from the people we are supposed to protect. So when you talk about this issue, when we are handling this issue, the discussion should not be treated as a political discussion. This discussion is one that is more patriotic. How long are we going to sit down, you understand, and allow people who ought to be in a position of stewardship? Because when you have political power, really you are a steward. You are a steward not just of today, but you are a steward also of tomorrow. And what do we do with that power? What do we do with that privilege? That privilege to serve. What do we do with it? We create ghosts to steal. And then you see, to help us run away from the problem, then we deliberately give the stealing the name irregularity. Who can you convince that where we have a situation where there are over 51,000 names on a payroll that we cannot account for, and you say this is an irregularity? Are we serious? Professor, are we serious? 51,000 names. 51,000 names. Where there are over 6,000 people who are paid, and yet they cannot be found. And we term this an irregularity. Kojo, are we serious? And we will say it is an irregularity, and they will go scot-free. And do you know the consequence of that?
How do you call it?
Stealing. It must be treated as stealing.
And the network is what?
The network, over 800 million is gone.
I'm talking about the Abida.
I don't know, but it's stealing. You see, even we treat it as stealing. You see, when you treat it as irregularity, and they go to that parliamentary, whatever it is, that joke. You see, so it's like, let's do something to represent something. And they go and say, oh, Mr. Edison, you did this, and then the transpositional, and we go and say, use this English, and they go scot-free. You're encouraging the next young man, sitting there watching this sham of a system. Say that, listen, I want to get there. I want to get there and be part of this system that will create ghosts. To what end? So I can steal 800 million. Is that how we build a country? What are we building? Are we building a country? And yet, in this country, do a mistake and be knocked, just a scratch, you would die. You die, and they'll tell that we don't have enough beds. And how much is a bed? Was that 800 million stolen from this system can comfortably fund 2 banks? Can comfortably fund 2 banks. You understand? Because I'm saying that we have an economy one that cannot create jobs. My professor here keeps on talking about revenue. And I keep on saying that revenues are not like leaves on the tree. That serious countries deliberately create systems that will engender the creation of those revenues. You understand? And those revenues, you see, it's like energy. You see, energy is neither created nor destroyed. It's converted from one form into another. It's the same as money. Money is created. It's neither created nor destroyed. The small money you have, you can use the money then to turn around and create wealth. Because imagine 800. So we can do a simple calculation. Give somebody like 100,000. Yes, I was talking to a very sharp businessman. Give somebody a very sharp businessman 100,000 Ghana cedis. Let the person create a system that has, let's say, a company of just 5%, and multiply that effect over a period of 3 years. Prof, you had the microfinance company some time ago. Or you're into a business of lending, so at least you can do the mathematics. You've got some people don't understand how the intermediary system creates wealth. Just do that calculation: 100,000 times 5 over 100 every month, compounded. You see, you create wealth by 800. And Sally, do you know what you do with that money? Slave queen funding, threesomes, fancy cars, useless ventures. And you see, and at the end of the day, we are weakening this country. And you see, we are weakening because of a fundamental lack of desire, lack of commitment to enforce this, to tell people for this. I'm saying, immediately you use the word irregularity. Irregularity. Immediately we continue to term it irregularity. Then we cannot see the seriousness of the evil, the theft that has been done in a country, and they go scot-free. See, and that same attitude can be seen in issues like oral. In the oral and the core, see, people are losing faith in the system. People are losing faith in the system. Politicians come to power after 2-3 years. We start accusing them of having stolen monies. And then when the party that was the opposition accused people of having stolen money comes to power, they make noise 1 year, 2 years, pretend that some serious prosecutions are going on. And after 2-3 years, it dies down. Nothing happens. In fact, back to the Galamsey case. There was called, I think yesterday, I've seen a video where the Free Zones Board boss was warning the Pentecost, pastor, who said that people can't do the baptism. Yeah, that he's warning him. Yeah, I'm telling you. Hey, one of the chairman of the Pentecost church. I'm telling you. I just saw the video. When I was sitting, I just saw the video. But you see, the point I'm trying to make is, our leaders forget that when we put them into power, really, they are stewards. It's not your best. You are a steward. What does it mean? If you say you are a steward, you are being placed in a position where you take care of something, ideally to grow it for the benefit of who? The people. But when they get the power, they think it's their birthright. They think that they are there for their self-benefit. You get a picture. And unfortunately, because all of them are part of this system, they'll sit down, they've sat down 32 years as a democracy. And every year we do public accounts committee. Every year we call these stealings irregularities, and people go scot-free. So you're asking me, I think the first step in reversing this activity that hurts the very foundation, heart of our democracy. A democracy, a constitution who has as one of its fundamental principles and tenets the principle of probity and accountability. When, insofar as we continue to term these stealings as irregularities, and so far the people who perpetrate this continue to walk free, then we are taking a shot at the heart of this our democracy. And unless and until we deal with it, unless and until we see real accountability, unless and until we see real consequence for these stealings, then we run a risk of turning this our democracy into a kakistocracy. Okay. Because the young men of this country will sit there and watch this vile system, this negative system, and say
that I want to be there. I want to be an MP. I want to be a minister. Not because I want to be a steward, but because I want to be part of this system that claims that they fear ghosts, but do not mind creating ghosts for the purpose of stealing from the country.
And per letter I've cited, it says, quote, "It is vital to look beyond the individual corrections and focus on the staggering scale of the audit findings, which identify over 800 million cedis in unearned salaries across various ministries and departments." Hey, unearned salaries alone. Okay.
They've stolen it. This
remains a matter of...
Don't call it irregularity, I beg you.
This remains a matter of grave national concern. The fourth estate will not be deterred by legal posturing, confident that the courts will vindicate its actions as squarely within the law. Our client remains committed to its constitutional mandate and to strengthening Ghana's accountability architecture, and will continue to pursue stories that safeguard the public purse, guided by the principles of ethics, professionalism, and the law. And I've seen this on the website of Media Foundation for West Africa. It's coming from their lawyers, A Partners at Law. Interesting. Quite an interesting thing. 800 million. You say we shouldn't say unearned salaries. But stolen money. Stolen money is irregularity. Let's go to court.
You see.
Let's go to court.
Listen. So you go to court not to say that something is not stolen. No. You go to court to say that, you know how you see, you're a fat gentleman. That let's say Kofi, whatever it is, has stolen the money. Here, you understand?
Yeah.
But as for the stealing there, when somebody has taken your property, you understand? Your property, your movable property, without your consent, what is it?
Stealing.
So, what has happened is stealing. Now, what we go to court for is to prove that A, B, C, D are the ones who stole. But as for the stealing there,
it has happened.
It has happened. So, we should not call it an irregularity. We should not use language to take anything away from the negative, from the reality of what is happening, which is stealing.
He's a lawyer here.
Once the lawyer speaks, you are speaking.
Exactly.
Stealing.
The lawyer has spoken. But briefly, we need to move on to our next topic.
Interestingly, the number we are talking about, translate that into staff.
Into what?
6 staff.
Yeah.
6,270 active staff unaccounted for. Go by ministry, the whole thing. What we did, Minister of Education, 31 million. Minister of Education alone.
31 million.
This will provoke you. Minister of Health, Ghana Health Service, 33 million. Judicial Service, 5.9 million. Minister of Justice and Attorney General, 1 million.
Even there.
Minister of Interior, Ministry of Interior, 1.2.
Interior also, police.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, 3.8. Then numbers. What do we do?
Okay, all right.
We do payroll audit all the time. In fact, if the government want to pay me every month, you know what they do? They will send a confirmation to my department, and then I have to confirm that those people exist.
Yeah.
Then it gets to controller before the payment. All this, they are still recording this.
That's why it's not irregularity, because they have control system. Because they have internal control system.
Yeah, in the university, it's different. When I left UCC in 2015, the day I left, I never received a dime.
So where from this one? Kojo, even small companies know that one of the ways in mitigating risks is by having controls. It's basic. You understand? So I did tell her that in the controller and whatever it is, they don't have control system. So there's no validation. No, they're out there. But I'm saying it's a deliberate system to steal.
Okay, all right.
A deliberate system to steal. Every year happens.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's move on to the next topic. And the next topic too has some legal, let's see. It says, Ghana Director Newmont Anglo-Gold Zijin should shift mining operations to local firms by December, sources say. And yesterday we dealt much on this on Newsnight. We heard from the Chamber of Mines. They say that it's even a discussion they've started having already to see how some of the contracts in the mining space can be given to entirely local people. But it looks like now government wants, the mining operations to be handled by locals. According to Reuters, it says Ghana's mining regulator has given international companies Newmont, AngloGold Ashanti, and Chinese-owned Xinjiang until December 2026 to shift mining operations over to local contractors or face sanctions, according to 5 sources with direct knowledge of the matter and document. Newmont and Xinjiang currently operate the mines with their own staff. AngloGold Ashanti has a joint venture contractor mining at a smaller Iduapriem gold mine, and the company told Reuters on Thursday in response to questions. Many firms outsource mining operations before Ghana. Africa's top gold producer revised local ownership rules in January 2025, requiring miners to switch to contract mining. Let me start with you, lawyer. I mean, there's a local content law we want to probably, give meaning to. Is that how to go about it? Is there any harm in the way we want to go about it anyway?
Oh, we have a law. How long have we not had a law? We've had a law for a long time, since I think for a very long time.
Okay.
So why are we having this discussion?
Okay.
It boils down to everything we've been saying. A lack of commitment to enforce the laws. You see, let's stop pretending, because the conversation about local content in Ghana's mining sector has become one of the most dishonest conversations in our national life. We have the laws, not so. We have the regulations. We have the policies. But what we do not have is real Ghanaian control over Ghanaian resources. And that's the issue, Kojo. Yeah, the problem in our mining sector is because Ghanaians do not have control over our system. And that's why the demand discussion, when Ibrahim Ama purposely took over the demand discussion, I felt that it was an issue that we ought to have celebrated. You understand? We ought to have celebrated, because you were cocoa or memo or say, you were gold or memo or say, you were little or memo or say, how much of those resources do we control? You see, Kojo, I know you are saying that we have the Local Content Act. And we probably say that Ghana has one of the best local content regimes in Africa. Now the question is, if that law is so strong, or if the implementation of that law is so robust, if we are enforcing that law like we ought to do, because remember, and I keep on pointing to the oath that is taken. We take an oath, as in when the president becomes president, and the MPs, the ministers, they all take an oath that essentially says that we are going to be faithful to Ghana.
Yeah.
It means that you are going to be faithful to the agenda of Ghana. You are going to be faithful to the purpose of Ghana. You get. And very central to the agenda of Ghana is to create an environment, to create an ecosystem where all Ghanaians can have the best chance of fulfilling all their ambitions, central to which is their economic ambitions. Very central. Now, if that's the case, if our politicians are being faithful to their mandate, if they are being faithful to the oath they took, which also includes an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the laws of this country. So if that's the case, Kojo, then why are we Ghanaians so weak in the ownership? Why are we Ghanaians so weak in terms of the control? Why are we Ghanaians so weak in terms of the value capture of our mineral resources? Because it is impossible to have a powerful law and have a powerless people at the same time. The powerless people in terms of the exploitation and critically the control of our mining sector. Something certainly is not adding up.
Okay, let me
see something. Okay,
if you look at Section 5 of the Minerals and Mining Local Content and Local Participation Regulations 2020, Section 5.2a says, a holder of a mining lease shall submit for approval a program for recruitment and training of Ghanaians, which shall include A, details of ongoing and planned recruitment and training of Ghanaians to replace expatriates.
Is it a law?
Yes.
That is a...
Yes. B, the percentage of expatriate staff relative to the total number of senior staff to be maintained by a holder of a mining lease, which is as follows. 1, For the first 3 years from the commencement of mining operations, the percentage shall not exceed 10%.
Percentage of what?
Of expatriate.
Working day?
Yes.
Okay.
So let me take it again. You are a lawyer, so you could help us. It says, a holder of a mining lease shall submit for approval a program for recruitment and training of Ghanaians, which shall include details of ongoing and planned recruitment and training of Ghanaians to replace expatriate.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying, that so they're going to do this and they want to. Who controls our mining sector? That's the key issue. And what steps is government deliberately taking to ensure that, unfortunately, you stayed in the mining. I did my service in Anglo-Good Ashanti, and I've did some business with Ghana Manganese. Who take the billion-dollar decisions in those companies?
Okay.
What's the essence in giving Ghanaians positions where they don't have real authority?
Yeah.
Where they don't have control?
Okay.
You understand? That's what I'm saying, that the problem, if you have laws or if you're unable to enforce laws to the extent that it cuts Ghanaians out in terms of proper control over our mineral resources, then you are feeling that then
Thank you. I'm told our time is up. Let me give the next 2 minutes to you, Prof.
Yeah. I've not chanced on this law before. I mean, it's my first time hearing this. So what is the issue here? To give
so government is saying
that content.
No, government is so it's enforceable. Government is essentially saying that going forward, the big mining companies should use locals in their
operations,
activities, which is a good call.
Yeah,
you understand. But the point is that it's not about we talking. We already have a law that has made these, and over the years they failed to implement to the letter not just the law but the purpose of the law. And the purpose ought to be to grant control over the exploitation and utilization of, because that's the only way Ghanaians.
And the law says that those who are not doing it should be paying some fines to the Minerals Commission. 1 year. Are they doing it?
We should
whatever we are doing in our country, we should focus our individuals who are here. They should be the beneficiary all the time. I would love to have a ratio of 90 to 10 when we are talking about structures of organizations.
Okay.
The companies might be given the opportunity to recruit or to get more local people to participate. But the scale and how we do it, or we are going to do it, is my issue.
Okay.
Let's focus on what is happening in South Africa. I don't want this thing to happen.
But this is the law. And before you knew that this law.
But I'm saying that the enforcement part should not mimic what is happening.
Oh, no. But
and my challenge is, my issue is that I will support any Ghanaian, any individual who is a Ghanaian, to be supported in terms of business.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let's wrap it all up here on the show. But just to conclude with this, and today is the birthday of a friend of mine, Macross, did I say Manfred Arthur in Biaho. Today is your birthday. Happy birthday to you, Manfred. So Manfred Arthur in Biaho, today is your birthday. Please have a wonderful birthday. This one says, just briefly, what happened to the promise made by President Mahama to use AI in the fight against Galamsey? Is the Blue Water Guard still in existence? How about arresting the Galamsey kingpins? Who have they arrested so far? President Mahama admitted recently that his own party people are involved in Galamsey. Why is he not arresting them? Ghanaians are watching closely. Let's give some time. Master Planner, Junior Policy Analyst in Kintampo. We end it here. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more here on the AM Show.
Shield silicone paint repels water, dispels water vapor, is washable, self-cleaning, and durable. Now, you can appreciate how and why Shield Silicone Paint is super strong and thus able to do what other paints cannot do. Shield Silicone Paint from Azar Group since 1921.
Changing, so should you. If you're dreaming, don't be afraid. And in the valleys, keep your head up high. Dare to dream with Puma drinks. Yeah, believe it, you can achieve. Oh yeah, clap your hands for the whole new vibe. Make me set the oh yeah, come alive. Let me hear you. Puma drinks, a whole new vibe. Another quality product from Casa Precon.
This advert is FDA approved.
Hi, now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park.
Our electric shuttle pulled up and in no time our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the Eco Park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown crane, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults, this price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It has been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
Another week is here on the greatest of all time show. My name is Giovanni Clip, and tonight we're bringing you talent. Contestant number one, let's bring Baby Girl. Let's bring. You did it for you.
Cut. Oh, there is a leakage.
Where's the plumber?
For quality and durability, insist on Syntex pipes.
If you want quality, this be where you belong.
Strong, tough, and reliable. Your perfect match to your trusted Syntex pipe. Syntex pipe, it dey carry water, no wahala. Syntex pipe, it dey make water dey flow. Syntex, and you're strong, and you're tough.
Welcome back from the break. Let's talk wash now, because Ghana's progress in water, sanitation and hygiene is anchored in national policies aligned with sustainable development goals. With government intervention spanning rural water expansion, urban sanitation infrastructure, hygiene campaigns and public-private partnerships. However, weak enforcement, maintenance gaps and uneven access, especially in rural and peri-urban areas, continue to limit impact. So how do we deal with all of that? Today I've been joined by two people who are involved in this area to help us understand what needs to change, what needs to happen for us to achieve the sustainable development goals in terms of WASH. And I'm joined in studio by Joseph Matthew. I mean, if you hear the name, you should tell you where he's coming from, right? is WASH project lead and communications coordinator of United Way Ghana. Joseph, good morning. Trust you good?
Yes.
Okay, I'm well. Okay.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming. So you are a Warri boy or a Lagos boy?
I'm a Lagos boy.
Lagos, huh? Okay, all right. And Gifty also a sustainability advocate with Prudential Life Ghana.
Insurance Ghana.
Oh, okay. All right then. How are you doing, Gifty?
I'm well.
Great. I'm well.
Great.
Joseph, let me start with you. Now, if we talk about investment,
yes.
In infrastructure to promote WASH, especially in rural and peri-urban areas, where is Ghana, and is government doing enough?
Thank you for the question. I believe currently Ghana is doing significantly well when it comes to water, sanitation, and hygiene, especially water access. So according to a joint monitoring program by the WHO and UNICEF, about 78% to 90% of Ghanaians are covered when it comes to access to water. You understand? And at the same time, the only...
About how many percent?
About 87 to 90%.
Covered
when it comes to access to water.
Okay.
Yes, but the challenge that we've seen based on the data is sanitation. So sanitation is usually a big challenge, and currently about 15% of Ghanaians have proper and safe sanitation. So 15%. So that is something we need to look at, and that's where as an organization, as an NGO, we are trying to bridge the gap and ensure that we promote access to proper and safe sanitation within peri-urban and local communities in Ghana. There is a lot of seaside communities, of which Choko is one, for example. And you find that a lot of those communities usually suffer from flooding and other climate challenges. So mostly we tend to want to bridge the gap by ensuring that we work with government agencies, we work with donor partners to provide those sanitation needs that these communities are requiring, and provide also other instruments and infrastructure that would help reduce the relatively poor state of sanitation.
The percentage of access to water, does it capture those in the Galamsey affected areas too? Or do we have a distinction between clean and just water?
Yes, that's a good question. Yes, I think it's generally access to water, not necessarily whether the water is clean or not. It's a general access to water.
Okay.
You know that at the same time, we already know the existing challenges that the water corporations might have across board, of which, like you mentioned, the Galamsey is one of them. But that is outside the scope of our work.
Sure.
But whichever the case, having access to water, it's something I think Ghana relatively is doing well at, but we need to improve more on sanitation.
How does our strategy compare with other African countries, and where and how do we bridge the gap?
Yes, so relatively Ghana is doing well, like I said. Ghana has no deficiency or shortfall when it comes to proper policies. I think where we need to bridge the gap on is implementation of those policies, you understand, where we need to devise a scheme and a process where government can bring more corporate and donor partners on board so that these donor partners buy into the existing policies and help bridge the financing gap. Because what we've really come to understand is government can't do it all by themselves. They need donor partnership. They need private sector partnership to also buy into the scheme and help achieve the access to water, sanitation, and hygiene goals. So bridging that financial gap is where the donor partners and NGOs are trying to fill in. And we're working with various government agencies so we are doing a bottom-top approach. So we are working from the municipals to the regional and then to the national system where we can buy into the government policies.
Let me bring in Gifty now. Gifty, so I guess the PRU is Prudential something.
Yes.
Okay.
So as Joseph rightly mentioned, WASH is one of the topical issues that ought to be addressed. And for us at Prudential Life Insurance Ghana, we are working closely with United Way Ghana to implement what we call the PRU Climate Action And this is a 100,000 USD project in Choco being funded by the Prudence Foundation. And so what this project seeks to do is to improve sanitation and wash within the community. And we have actually seen sterling impacts or performance over the period being we started sometime last year. So it's to construct 100 biodigester toilet facilities for homes, which we are nearing completion. And then also we have constructed 20-seater toilet facility for the Chimwana cluster of school. This is a school that has about 450 students. And in terms of toilet facility, we say that it was not functioning, so we had to quickly come in. So you have people coming to school, they do not have toilet facility. Whenever they want to visit Nature's Core, they have to ask for permission to go, and some of them go out and look for toilet facility, and some of them turn out not coming back to school again, which was really impacting performance and then also in terms of turnout for students. And so this intervention was quickly to come in to really ensure that this challenge is being solved. And beyond that, one of the key things, as Joseph mentioned, we know impact of climate change, we talk about it. It is exacerbating the whole wash, or let's say water and sanitation problem. And you clearly stated galamsey, right? Which is one of the serious major issues, okay? And one of the things that we realized that we could do is co-creating, because if you don't think with the people and have them at the center of what you are doing, then at the end of the day, ownership is something that will be left out, because at the end of it all, you are doing something for the society, you are doing something for the community. So if the community people are not part of the conversation, do not have clear ownership and know their role that they have to play, then it's going to be a very problematic. So what we tend to do was to really ensure that we have the grassroots people being part of this. So I believe that from the global perspective or even from the national perspective, what we can do is that whenever we are doing such interventions, the very core people or the recipients of these interventions ought to be part of the conversation. And once we do that, we are able to ensure that if the donor or the NGO is done with their job and they are no more in the community, you have people to really take care of these interventions.
And I guess that should also come in with the government plan. Yes. So NGOs like yourselves doing it, must it be isolated or it must be tied into the national strategic plan?
It must be tied into the national strategic plan. And one of the things that is a gap, not just for our part of the world, but I'll say Africa in general, is that you realize that some way, somehow, some of these NGOs, they work in silos, which shouldn't be the case. When you are working, you need to work closely with the government, ensure that whatever you are doing ties into the strategy of the government, what the government has. And you need to ensure that you have the core stakeholders involved in the conversation. And I'm very happy that what we do with United Way, we have the assemblies being part of it. We ensure that the core elements or stakeholders that ought to be involved in the conversation are really part of it. And this is what we need to do, because you can't work in silos, okay? When you're doing an intervention, and let's say from the macro level, you don't have the government oversight. Government is not even aware of what you are doing. You are doing something that is not in alignment with what government expects, then it's going to be a big challenge. So we really have to ensure that there's that kind of sync with government intervention.
All right, Joseph, just before we wrap up, what will be your concluding remarks, touching on what government should do to better the relationship between NGO and government in ensuring that our wash strategies are achieved?
Yes, please. I think government needs to have an open arm policy when it comes to partnering with NGOs and other private sector donor partners. We need to see the fact that it is not a one-man business, it's not a one-institution business. You see, with our project, we are welcoming, co-creating, like she said, and collaborations, not just with one donor partner, with multiple donors, and adopting communities for multi-year projects. You understand? So that it's not just you go into a community for 1 year and you go out. You have multiple years of working with the communities and having multiple donor partners work with them, providing different needs that the community needs in terms of access to water, sanitation, and hygiene. And I think government should buy into the same framework where, we all work in collaborations because, as she has mentioned, government lays the policy. They understand the design and the architectural plan for these communities. So we are simply buying into that existing policy, and we can't do it without them. On our project, we work hand in hand with the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, specifically the Ablekuma South Sub-Metro, and they are a major stakeholder in the project, and we are doing well to make sure that we flow along with what they have planned out.
All right, okay. Gifty, just 30 seconds. Do you have any concluding remarks?
Yes, so what I would say is that one organization cannot do it all. It's very important that we have other stakeholders, other private entities, NGOs coming on board. And with the fact that now we have some limited funding, we need to own it as a country and see how best we can come together to solve this challenge. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Joseph Matthew is WASH Project Lead and Communications Coordinator, United Way Ghana. And Gifty also is a sustainability advocate with Prudential Life Insurance Ghana.
Yes.
I got it right?
Yes, you got it right. Thank you.
That's what it is. Well, we'll end it here. We'll be back with a lot more. But I should say, let me again wish my friend Manfred Arthur a happy birthday. Manfred, Miss Nyamani Yaudia, Nayokas, Rene, Miss Yadifuana Kadifum for Yanadimoina, Michael Bella and a friend, and I really will phone. Oh, yeah, Nadebula Hobo, but Yamano don't want to know Nayokas. Happy birthday to you, Manfred Arthur, in Beahon. We'll take a break here. We'll be back. And then again, Dr. Akufo-Addo is watching. Doctor, good morning to you. It's been a long time. I hope you're well. Let's take a break. We'll be back with more Tuesday.
When Ghana faced the devastating no-birth syndrome crisis in 2018, the nation watched in anguish, patients turned away, lives hanging in the balance. Yet one question lingered. How could a fully built hospital remain empty? As pressure mounted, one man was called to do the impossible, to bring the University of Ghana Medical Center to life. That man is Dr. Darius Kofiose, a leader defined by results, building some of Ghana's most respected healthcare institutions.
I was the only person who was parking my car there. There was no car. But now when I get there, I had to beg them to give me a parking space.
His journey was shaped by hardship, setbacks, and a life-changing moment. A monkey bite that first took him to a TBA hospital, the very place that would later define his path.
No, in fact, TBA is what made me, and I've learned something that humility opens the door for a lot of things.
This Friday on PM Personality Profile, Dr. Darius Kofiose tells his story in his own words. Don't miss it.
If you must listen to music, what kind of genre will you listen to? Do you know Daddy Lumba?
Oh yeah, I know Daddy Lumba. Daddy Lumba, in fact, it was his music that we used for our wedding.
The problem is not that there's not enough jobs. The problem is that we are not valuable enough. I guarantee you, if somebody is very valuable, they will get a job. Stop crying and start building. Social media and AI doesn't care that you are an introvert. It doesn't care that you are shy. It doesn't care. This is where the market is happening. NSS is done at the wrong time. People should be getting real life work experience in the first or second year. There's a difference between you and your work. I may like you, but your work is not good. With the rise of AI, things are moving too quickly for you to say, no, this is how I studied in school. This is how I am. You're going to get left behind. This is the best time ever to start a small business by yourself. Young Ghanaians, unfortunately, have defeatist mentality. They've given up. They're waiting for the government to do something for them. It's unrealistic to think that you should have a level of success the average person doesn't have without paying for it.
What is too much of a cost for success?
Sometimes the practical advice is so simple that people think, no, that's too simple. Give me the secret sauce. I'm in it right now. I'm experiencing it. I don't have many friends. I don't know what I'm doing.
We were just shocked because it had not happened before. For anybody with the courage to come in with excavators with the aim of coming to mine, it was unheard of.
press conference egesi akontamane it is so ka say enye ono a na yentro ma ne nkrofo no bi krampo ebebetututu wa ha.
There was invasion. The whole world knew it. The reports were there. The investigation revealed it. The CID had all the report. Guess what happened? It was shelved. It was shelved because there was no political will.
We shouldn't rely on the kind of money that we will get a day, and tomorrow we cannot guarantee that same money.
Across Ghana, in communities big and small, ordinary people are doing extraordinary things. This is the Joy News Impact Makers Awards 2026, celebrating those who are changing lives, shaping futures, and building hope. From Bimbila in the northern region, Faith Jakpasu is transforming classrooms through innovation, inclusive learning, and life-changing initiatives for students, teachers, and vulnerable communities. From Aflao in the Volta region, Felix Akakpo is building schools, supporting students, and investing in the future of an entire community. In health, from Winneba in the central region, Amos Ando is turning his personal battle with sickle cell into a national movement for awareness, prevention, and policy change. From Nkwanta in the Oti region, Bless Lantam is delivering life-changing healthcare to hard-to-reach communities, even in the face of conflict. From Insawame Dwejiri in the eastern region, Antonio Say is restoring mobility, dignity, and opportunity through prosthetics and outreach across Ghana. From Adenta in the Greater Accra region, Valerie Ajatia is empowering amputees with hope, rehabilitation, and the courage to rebuild their lives. From Anyanui and Noga in the Volta region, Reverend Christian Valeto is rescuing, treating, and reintegrating neglected mental health patients back into society. From Akuse in the eastern region, Alberta Aite is mentoring, educating, and empowering over 1,000 girls to dream beyond limitations. From Singabreku in the central region, Isabella Akwabwa fighting period poverty and equipping women and girls with skills for independence. In Wash, from Sirigu in the Upper East region, Dr. Anthony Akunzule is improving livelihoods through clean water, education, and economic opportunities for women. From Akache in the Volta region, Senior Bomita is transforming communities through schools, clean water, healthcare access, and youth empowerment. And for the Corporate Partner Award from the Cape Coast Youth Development Association is empowering thousands of young people through education, skills training, and community development. These are not just finalists. These are change makers. They are nation builders. They are Ghana's true heroes. Joy News Impact Makers Awards, celebrating ordinary people making extraordinary impacts. Who takes this home? The 2026 Joy News Impact Makers Awards is brought to you by CEO Summit, Labadi Beach Hotel, Ayuda, Ghana's #1 services app, Abakun Services Bibri, New Crystal Hospital, Growing in Good Health, Silas Enterprise, where quality meets affordability, Water Aid Ghana, change starts with water, Ghana Chamber of Mines.
The problem is not that there's not enough jobs. The problem is that we are not valuable enough. I guarantee you, if somebody...
When news breaks, there's no pause button. With fast-moving, developing stories, decisions are unfolding, and the nation is watching. This is News Desk, with a very fast and precise tone and attitude, 1 hour. The biggest stories, the clearest facts, politics, governance, security, the economy, not rumors, not speculation, but verified news.
It's clear that the people wanted to change the will of the people of Pandai, but the Supreme Court has affirmed the will of the people.
Backed by context, sharpened by analysis. Here, headlines are not enough. We go beyond the what to ask the why and the what next. decision makers are questioned, policies are examined, and the facts are allowed to speak without fear, without favor. This is News Desk on Joy News. Independent, fearless, credible.
All right, let me say good morning to you once again and welcome to the show. It's time for us to talk about AB, right? Now, in talking about AB, this will be something, so many times we've spoken about it because they're doing some incredible work here. Now, Ghana is hosting 2 distinguished global leaders from the Association of Business Executives, AB, on a strategic working visit. Melanie Robinson, Managing Director of AB Global Limited, and Carissa Carrington-Nunez is Director for Africa, Caribbean, and Americas in the country to engage with student, alumni, and institutional partners alongside Barata Akefi, CEO of Crux Training Institute, a leading AB accredited center in Ghana. This special interview will spotlight AB's globally recognized skills-focused qualifications and their growing impact in Ghana. This is what we're looking at, and I've been joined, as I mentioned earlier, Melanie Robinson, who is the Managing Director of AB Global Limited, is here. Melanie, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Trust you good?
Yeah, good.
Hope Ghana is treating you well.
Very well, yeah. It's a lovely country, and I'm happy to be here.
Is this your first time?
It's my first time, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
You have to come back.
I will do, because they're working me very hard. I haven't had any time for fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, Barata, take your time, take your time. Let the woman enjoy our hospitality the more. But what food have you taken so far? What Ghanaian food have you tasted?
Oh, what did we have yesterday?
Jollof rice.
Jollof rice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
From the street. We were told we had to have the traditional, original version.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. You have to try fufu as well before you go.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we also have Carissa Carrington-Nunez. She is Director for Africa, Caribbean, and Americas. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
First time in Ghana?
No, I've been here multiple times.
Oh, you look like a Ghanaian, actually.
They keep telling me I look like some Ashanti girl or something. But in the Caribbean, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh, okay.
So we don't really have a lot of that. We don't even speak any mother tongues. We only speak English. Yeah. So, but I think Ghana is very close to home for us.
Yeah.
Even back in the day from the slave trade, they said the ships departed from here.
So I was going to say that actually you could probably have your ancestors coming from here.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and this is why I feel so at home at Ghana. Thank you.
Welcome, yeah. And then the man, Barata Akefi, CEO of Crux Training. Good morning to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Okay, all right. Now, let me start with you, Melanie, on this one. What makes AB qualifications uniquely relevant in today's job market? Barata has been saying a lot, but you are here. Let me hear it from you.
Yeah. So the thing for the young people today, we don't want them just to get jobs. We want them to build careers. And the ABE qualification is designed with employability at the core of it. So unlike just being a pure theoretical program, we focus on practical skills and real world problems. So things like critical thinking, leadership, entrepreneurship, and problem solving. So our curriculum is developed with input from the industry to ensure that the graduates that we're producing are truly suited to those jobs. And that the market in Ghana, where young people are seeking employment and entrepreneurial opportunities, this is really especially impactful.
And over the years you've been rolling this, have you been measuring the sort of impact your training is having on Ghanaians here?
It's always difficult to measure impact, but we know that we have graduates that are moving into careers in banking, in finance, into the IT sector. So yes, that we can see that our graduates really are adding to the Ghanaian economy.
Okay. Carissa, over the years that I've been speaking with Barata, I realized that AB enrollment in Ghana is growing. I don't know what's accounting for it, if you can help us understand what's accounting for that and what Crux Training Institute, for example, is doing in that regard?
ABE offers practical transferable skills as well as a differentiated pathway. A lot of Ghanaians, when you look at the statistics for the graduates from secondary school, the numbers of them who have not made the grade to get into traditional universities, it is very high. And historically, many of those students would not have had an opportunity to further their education. ABE offers an accessible route. It doesn't depend solely on their secondary school grades. It allows them transferability to higher education. It is flexible and caters to the working students as well, who would have been in the job market, doesn't have a qualification. And as a result, many people are now flocking to ABE. That, as well as we are one of the only awarding organization in country, or one of the few in country, that are recognized by GTEC in Ghana. We have multiple center partners here, so our reach is expansive. And we have a local office on the ground. You asked Melanie about impact. I think the impact is, you know, in traditional saying, we say the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Isaac Iboa, Dr. Isaac Iboa, that our local country manager here is an ABE graduate. He used the ABE qualification to move all the way through multiple degrees, including his law degree, his PhD, and through the Ghanaian system here at home using ABE. So that is one of many examples that we have in country regarding the ABE program, and that's why it's becoming more and more popular here in Ghana.
Okay. Interesting. Melanie, let me come back to you, because last time I was speaking to Barata, and you were saying that your level 6 is equivalent to a university degree. I was like, whoa, what's that? So as Carissa has been saying, so I could just move from the street, for example, in code, go through your levels, get to level 6, and I become what? My certificate is equivalent to a university graduate. So educators on your level, your structure, I mean, it's quite an interesting one. I would want to really understand.
It is, and it is quite confusing, as you say. But ABE is perfectly suited for people that maybe haven't finished their high school education, that haven't taken that traditional academic route. So our level 3 serves as a foundation for students in that situation, to give them that foundation knowledge. We then move on to level 4, which is the core business knowledge and skills equivalent to that first year of university. But as you say, level 6, that is the equivalent of a bachelor's degree. So it will take you anywhere that a bachelor's degree will. Also, if you've come to level 5, you can actually transfer into some degree routes directly into the third year of that degree. So you still get a bachelor's degree, but you don't have to do the full 3 years. Makes it a very cost-effective way of getting into higher education. The other thing as well is the ABE qualification is recognised internationally. So as you know, I've come over from the UK. We're a UK-based organisation, and we're Ofqual regulated in the UK, which means, as I say, that the qualification is recognised and it's transferable. So if you wanted to go for a job in the Americas, in Asia, in Europe, you can use your ABE qualification to get you there. Or if you wanted to continue into further education in one of those countries, then yes, again, the level 6 is recognised.
It's enticing, really. As I sit here and I listen to you, I'm like, Charlie, I have to take a course with ABE just to get it done, you know.
So you can start your education here in Ghana, but it can take you anywhere.
Yeah. Barata, they're winning me over. I mean, I have to kind of do a course with, you know. But Barata, let me bring you in anyway. From a local perspective, how's Crash Training Institute helping students maximize the opportunities offered by ABE?
Yes, so Madam Carrington mentioned that we have lots of centers in Ghana, and Cracks Training is one of those centers we have in Ghana. And for us, the advantage, as Madam Melanie has said, is the fact that we see value in the certification. So regardless of where you are on your educational journey, whether you are in the middle, you want to get a degree, whether you are starting, whatever the issue is. For example, the level 4 qualification is perfect. You start at level 4 and you are able to transition into level 200 of a traditional university, regardless of whatever happened in your secondary school, or once you have the level 4 qualification, you can transition into the university at level 200. So I see the pathways and the route as being very flexible, very good, and my patrons and my students also see that value and that flexibility. You don't have to stop work to go to school. You will be in school and you can be able to pursue higher education in terms of the level 6, which can then lead you to further and do a master's. And once you have a level 6, any university in Ghana, any recognized university in Ghana, you can apply to do a master's degree. So for us on the local level, it's a win-win for us. Local relevance, international certification, and that is the win for us, yes.
So I can live in, say, Agyeman-Rawlings and still school with you without necessarily having to come to Accra?
Yes, you can.
Online?
You can. We have online sessions in there. We look at partner centers where you are, that you can also do it. So there is that flexibility in there, yes.
All right. We're just about wrapping up. Carissa, I'll come to you. So if someone is watching us now and is motivated like I am, what should a person do?
I think your next step is to reach out to Crux Training Institute or visit our local office here in Ghana. I know we are wrapping up. I really want to take an opportunity to congratulate our managing director. Okay. She is the first female managing director at ABE Global. Oh, okay. First to spend 1 month on the African continent, understanding the nuances and just demonstrating to I would say, to the Ghanaian population, the commitment of ABE, the dedication of ABE in empowering its citizens, and the quality that is backed by a globally recognized qualification with parity of esteem, not-for-profit, cost-effective, and very recognized and transportable. So well done to Team ABE, well done to our Managing Director, and get in touch with Crux Learning Institute, and welcome to ABE.
Congrats to you, for this. But anytime I listen to Carissa, I want to speak Patois.
And I won't understand. I won't. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. No.
But it's so familiar, it's so close to the Patois language. At the point, I wanted to say Wagwan to you.
Well, actually, that I can speak. I can say, Wagwan.
Well, Wagwan.
Yeah. I could actually rap in that. Like our local dialects will be like, Medea, me happy for be here, Caribbean vibes kind of thing. So
Medea is like I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here, and I'm happy to be here.
And in our local language, you say mewaha, right? Yeah. You guys, you came from us for real.
We came from you.
Mewaha that you did Medea.
No wahala.
Okay, all right. So Melanie, just before we wrap up, what will be your concluding remarks to our viewers out there?
Just contact Crux, get in touch, do the ABE qualification. It really will take you anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, so I want to leave a number so that those who are interested can call or WhatsApp us. Okay. So the numbers to call is 055 222 2217. That's 055 222 2217. And we'll give you all the details so you can start your ABE journey. Thank you very much.
All right. Barata Akefe, CEO of Crux Training Institute, a leading ABE accredited center in Ghana. Earlier, you heard from, now we know, the first female managing director of ABE Global Limited, Melanie Robinson. Thank you for passing through. And to our Ashanti sister in the Caribbean, Carissa Carrington Nunes, Director for Africa, Caribbean and Americas, ABE Global. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, this is still the AM show. We'll take a break here. We will return with much more. Please do keep us company.
I was born at Jachi. Lived all my life under military dictatorship. Knew about the curfews, whereby 6 p.m. you have to sleep, whether you like it or not. Those were the turbulent years in Ghana. I remember somebody asking Agyeman-Rawlings that, when are you handing over? And he famously said, hand over to whom? When I passed the common entrance, they gave me a prospectus. Never seen a prospectus before. I was the first in the family to go to secondary school. I had to pay 40 cedis as a deposit, but it was difficult for my father to secure 40 cedis. I used to sell kerosene. I remember a familiar one, a woman close to my house who bought a kerosene, which I still don't think she paid because when I go there, so come the next time, when you go on Friday evening, they say, oh, it's Sabbath. So when it's Sabbath, they don't touch money.
Malfunctioning traffic lights at the Awoshia-Blekuma Highway is not new. For motorists and pedestrians along this stretch, a faulty traffic light has become more than an inconvenience. Residents say it has become a death trap. The traffic lights have been off for years despite demonstrations and repeated appeals to authorities. Each time they are repaired, residents say the relief is temporary. Soon after, the lights go off again, and when they do, crashes return. This stretch of road has witnessed the loss of many lives. Hit-and-run incidents have become common here. One of those grieving is Kwekwa Samoa. He lost his only son in a crash on the Awoshia-Blekuma stretch. He believes negligence on the road cost his son's life.
10th September, day Wednesday, anopa. Timi sore na me ko be me shop. Ana na danfo bisa me say na me nua prince way. I'm so be a wada one sorry because once what damn in next room. And I'm say they are seven or so oba. To account say oba no. Be 10 minutes time na o mai. Teach me follow up some say oba prince ase. Wo say oba but me masem kro na bibia si ana na so ye bibia na. Ba me ko hwe dan na no dem no. Na on na hosa time no. Teach no be ka chom say omo ko enya police station. Ako confirm assembly. Tina fe na madwinu ma yeme basa. Che no beka kire me say omo ko anya police station. Omo say accident be see traffic light na so este prince oka ho. Na ono de we free ba motor rider no de omo arash na de no hospital. To kan sa kire me any be 10 minutes na see ade ni free anya police station ba say accident be see ya na omo kire say opapa wa ha. To mo de metina aka mu ekọ sin ho di etwa mu ekọ police hospital no o mo ka kire me plane say the friend prince no dey were film ba rather no dey or admission ti ampa me di na chi ene rekọ mo kire ko ene say eyi no ba ya no say e me ba prince no fa di ha me pa na se de be si ahawa koduru bia no oni bibia ba ye bio because makohu se nipa no ade no asi accident na si makohu ne body or mortuary ti den na beka bio ni bibia aka bio se me ba no wo film nti kasa haye me ne o maame dia na ya tro haye pa.
He's now pleading with authorities to fix the traffic lights before another family suffers the same loss.
Sa traffic light no started say asay no ache so many years no. It is open to cross kwan no krampo a ka bien ho abegina ma se cross gise wo gina ho a kumtamo a main traffic light no ebe block wo La Paz Malam Road so ansa na mo etimi ada ho ama wotimi across so enti ade sere no se e traffic light no ma nipa se nipa benya ho mfaso na bra se nipa twam wotimi atwam na bra se ka so kɔ no so ɔno so atimi akɔ na sɛ bɛba sɛ bɛsi hɔ na ɛnyɛ adwuma de a agye sɛ si hɔ no fa so bi eni so nyamani hu ya hase nipa a ɛku wɔ mo no more than 20 de mate ne de mdimani hu bɛ 20 nti yɛsrɛ sɛ de sa traffic light na ɛhyɛ ne nsa na so mpanimfo ɛhwɛ so no mbetuma bɔ modern sɛ anytime bi obo hu sɛ chema asɛ ehu atɔ chema no ɔmo siesie because nipa nti ne yɛ traffic light no de si hɔ nipa nkwa so ehu hia nti ade sɛ de no sɛ de ɛyɛ na sɛ de sɛ ɔhwɛ ɛma traffic light no ɛyɛ adwuma no ɔnhwɛ ɛma yɛn.
They don't stop, they hit and run, they run away, no light, baby. Nina hit and run. A bomb wife ya adopa tu.
Normally, traffic lights decide who moves and who stops. But here on the Awoshipo-Kwase stretch, that responsibility has been left to drivers and pedestrians themselves. For years, these lights have remained faulty, turning this stretch into a daily test of patience and safety.
Bernardo Kumo, popularly known as Uncle Ben, is also living with painful memories. He lost his wife in a crash on this same stretch one morning.
Sorry, Alopa. By 7 o'clock, or Charlie Quino, and now said traffic light to me, my teeth, and a pow, carbon, I don't know what the sport.
He says residents are even willing to support authorities in any way possible if it will help restore the lights.
Cesiano, Yasam, they say, Papa, no boy, they are ready. Yeah, gun, I was in landlord association. We are ever prepared to support the government to renovate the traffic light for us. It's killing us. We don't need anything that the traffic light will patch out. We are begging to patch out. Nyeto mbe ye kwan amaye na fe yewu aja kwan no ti asra ban on kire ade pote how to install traffic light me amaye we me yireni this my wife kuni ya me yireni oh ti apachao.
For Joyce Coker, the danger on this stretch of road has struck her family more than once. She recounts how her sister was knocked down by a vehicle while carrying her baby. The crash left her sister paralyzed. Joyce says although she later survived a similar accident on the same stretch, the memory of what happened to her sister still weighs heavily on her.
Nti na ewo man say me ti say si car bobi yedimi car ba ya onu na car bo na o che car se ni nana no so chelechi eni ne ba ni na omu ko share over na se kura godo kwa na kasa kwa no nka bi kura ba ko ma amoja aplamu ni sa oh okwoche wo hospital pa ya ti ni kwa ka we e kire na sade ni ko du we Rich Hospital. Okoda was answer the train about. It's where come here, see me for fun about and cover Casa and soon answering your papa. Watch me about and Miaka Samija also sad about me. Yamin Kua, Camin Swanka, a Berhaju. A Quamuchan dear, Miss Re Abice, Miss Relipi, only a mobile. A Drew say Betraquemois, Mrika, one Temrica in the cababo. All just never see here, never did the cow car, I bet him, a fine. But to me, I'm a fool kind of car for Mr. Nkwala, I'm a school, a bounce, but one a car bomb. Madame for upper my dear carbon, Madame for ye, and Nikuna Casse, Onusu, San and put to carbon, and a will. Yes, slap buying, and nothing near to Abano. Send me over, says he, a Hanamaye, and nothing near to Abba, and Mano. Coming Quampa overhead, Comoyaman Colano. Overhead, Omoyama woman, Kamu bar, no half hour overhead, no abesi. Suahu. A go over cross Ukana Bacono. Tamana Bacasi, oh, Kama, Mammy Cross, no Tama will be you to say, oh, no more to be a fan chain. Only light, but one of the above.
Residents say crashes have become frighteningly common here. Alhaji, a resident, says the malfunctioning traffic lights have created another danger. Motor riders now take advantage of the chaos to snatch phones from pedestrians.
Bad. Phone. A song by the difference. It's the lights look on Omojumono. A son says, traffic light near Juma, Mahaha, Betty Metum, and San Bibinia, Umquetti Mabaha. Ceciano, I was before, and I said, a penny for them. Maybe Sucrosuquino, maybe ni, and yet, maybe Sissy, and yet, as I say, it means Sucroso, a panel by force. The traffic and yet, Jumano. And I per se, Omoye in Harry say, Ombit Mary, Akos. And say a balancer. And that is not so bad. You're merely requiring as a express road. See a dim when you are trained a Jadua. And now traffic lighting every MPP and every ever do anything for us. Only a Nuna. But yes, I say, and your politics.
Assemblywoman for the Awoshi electoral area, Faustina Kesewa, says several attempts to get the lights repaired have yielded little success.
To be frank, come on, I'm a unit committee chairperson. Sir, traffic light were semono. And so sorry, sir. And so sorry, anytime be a problem where a man call for cabo bubble bonk for me, nim cram somebody assembly, me nim cranipa by 4. Me kasa madam for your friend Rasta. Traffic light yasia and a car born a bar branty managing until light in assembly as a dear ha to tropa I wish in mine a higher papa because school be wa quainachi a bisu was a big cause school a bisu crossover 2 weeks any abrobi a kama or the question your honey a friend your quena car born or quana no. Indeed to be frank light in assembly. I idea higher, yes, I am 2 and more. We need a unit committee for your young meeting. You're 2 and more is for almost on Baba up to now. Yanti and Pupuyabia until a Sregan and paying for our Mocasa a womb. Yen some paying for a bit before. Let's show me a penny and button paying for be a washer. Yes, throw Momo Mocasa ye, our Mutimi Casa, and Massa Juman Mutimi Yen. Yes, from us or Monkey Como. Yankaso muye juma kronos Ghana so esro mo kai awosi mabunu o kai awosi enkwala cause enkwala na mo twem ko school class eya ne ya da chi benya doctors wom e benya ministers wom e benya asofofo wom esro mo mo am ene na yema disrede.
During rush hours and at night, crossing this road becomes a dangerous gamble. Pedestrians often wait for long periods to cross. But when patience runs out, many take the risk. The result, sometimes, is tragedy. Data from the National Road Safety Authority shows road crashes in the Greater Accra region continue to rise. Residents believe malfunctioning traffic lights are part of the problem. For them, the solution seems simple. Fix the lights before another life is lost. Adeti Sorry for Joy News.
Mama sits outside her home, washing clothes and watching the sea just few meters away. The waves are close and they keep coming. Her house is less than 30 meters away from the shoreline, and each day the sea moves nearer. Just few weeks ago, the wave struck at night and nearly killed her and her 7-month-old baby.
When Precopen and Miss Solin and Pejam Bano, minimum, me what them, when about Kosu ye, your flash, now yet even look at the self what about to me, so point to me, you see. I say, still breeze now, come on, I say. And I make Peja, baby, no, and I do no question, my me for be demo. When I want and be best see me, yet dear Nasa, I saw what's in our home. And they said, I'm a she me, not skank, I met to Africa.
Amma has lived here for the past 3 years, and in that time, the sea has swallowed the land in front of her home.
Now, Hannah was saying, "Yet, but Hannah would dare doubt Sassy, baby, I didn't see now when I assassin. Uncle, I know to me, dear grower, ornament, send a daily year any pressure, no pono, said, do July, my yet bassa, but in your behind and ya grow cry, a better near to me body baha. Oh, I want to meet now from ma.
Shiabu is one of the hardest hit coastal communities in Accra. Hundreds of homes have been swallowed by the sea. Some families have left, but many cannot afford to go.
We cannot move unless the sea comes before, because we don't have any place and we move. We don't have any place, we will move. You understand? And we don't have any money to go and how do you call it? Go and rent the apartment. But only premises that we have. We are waiting for the Lord.
Along the shore, broken buildings sit along the edge of the sea. Walls are cracked and foundations are exposed. Some homes are already gone.
A binary mine penny for no more chum, never share before. It's also more bread power, and you happen a boo. So, do a nick of 2 hours. When we say, then be brave, self contained crossing, and yes, say, now, the defense on by ye, our beach side, no, I'm pressure in now. Ababeda.
Residents believe the construction of the sea defense at Glape, about 2 kilometers away, shifted the pressure to Shiabu.
Our buildings and our room is as corrupt, you know. You who the end yet? I'm on the Bobana Beguas, I'm on Twaso Maya. And see, we are telling Ghana that come and do this thing for us because yeah, bread.
Reverend Joshua Atto has seen the change, and he says the shoreline has shifted so much that homes that once stood here have disappeared into the sea.
She won not only put enough for our way. Robeni and Fiat work Bemeche, Warrior Wabe. And Yagas and what you'll find here. I get out the way you me. Tomorrow, you get to New York 22. Get 22 and one way. May never be you. Robert, Omoga, Professor Femini, over to way. Near she try to get Timmy PT. Mofiamo Pelagade and Aoka Pogabashia. She got to get a Pobu, Professor Femini, Salobashia.
Residents are asking governments to extend the sea defense to Shiabu so they can stop the waves from destroying what is left of their community.
But
experts say the sea defense is not the full solution. Professor Akufo-Addo is a coastal processes expert.
Artificial means can never and has never been the solution in fighting the natural system. So sea defense are always not a solution. Basically, what we do with sea defense is that we either prevent the ocean from taking sediment away, or we block sediment within the transport part, the sediment transport part. We block and trap sediment so that we build beaches within where erosion is a problem. But in blocking sediment, you are depriving other areas of sediment. So basically what you've done is that you've transferred the problem from one location to the other. And that is why in some areas you realize that in Keta, for instance, sea defense is doing very well, but downdrift erosion has increased. Why? Because the volume of sediment that would have gone to build the beaches and gone to, create a balance in the sediment budget regime are now being blocked and trapped. So the reduced sediment will definitely have an impact. And these are some of the reasons why the downdrift side begin to erode. So to me, sea defense using hard engineering approach has never been a solution. We should now begin to think about managing with nature, and that is nature-based solution.
As the sea advances inland, residents of Shiabo are asking for a chance to stay. But with every wave, that chance is slipping away. Emmanuel Jivenu, Joy News, Shiabo, Accra. The sea is closing in on one of Ghana's most important historical landmarks, the Christianball Castle, also known as the Osu Castle. Every wave eats away the land. The shoreline may soon vanish completely, leaving land and sea merged. Just a few meters away from the Osu Castle, 50-year-old Moses Abeka Okai sits by the shore mending his fishing net. He has lived by the sea for decades and remembers when the shoreline was far from the castle.
Castle first year kuse to Shibian shore nearby Nale. Tumo Biana Banshom. Itumo first year bene yo gono ton biane ishole te ba nale first year ishole fan aton si biane ke e fole te e petele no yo ja okote no aishi no utekile dan.
At the base of the Osu Castle, the warning signs are no longer subtle. The rocks that once held firm are now exposed, some cracking, others being pulled away. At my visit in 2023, there was still a visible stretch of sandy beach between the sea and the castle. I could stand and walk in that space without difficulty. 3 years later, that buffer is almost gone.
Sea level rise is projected to increase in the future, and this will have a significant effect on the coastal systems and the shoreline behavior. Our study revealed that out of the total number of tourism facilities at risk in Accra, a third cannot physically withstand the event of sea level rise hazard.
For centuries, the Christianball Castle was the seat of government. From the colonial era through independence and into the Fourth Republic. But in 2013, the presidency moved to the Jubilee House. Coastal scientist Professor Akufo-Addo says advancing coastal erosion played a key role in that decision.
Using the current sea level rise rate and projected future rates, I observed the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum, the Independence Square, and the Christianball Castle will experience erosion and are likely to be lost to the sea in the very near future.
If nothing changes, the loss may not happen suddenly, but bit by bit, until there's nothing left to protect. Emmanuel Jivenu, Joy News, Osu.
The Ahanta West Municipal Hospital, Bokro, is part of over 100 hospital projects the MPP government under Nana Addo Akufo-Addo rolled out in an effort to improve health infrastructure across the country. This was named Agenda 111. In December 2024, the President commissioned 3 of those hospitals, including the one in Bokro. Since then, nothing has happened here. Joel Kweku is a unit committee chairman for this area.
In fact, we're going to Madam Kojo, I know you are or Chade over there hospital in Yujuma. But we're going to why any assets now you won't or Chade hospital will be a Oguduli Yujuma. Don't know how I am Bokofo, especially Hunter West, or how you because what's we be last Malaya or Bokram Anupumanam Agenda 111 Johnson Dana Moon the ambulance be about crosswalk. Abadi was what they obey about was the hospital in Yajuba. All Pomutum Chade, Nippon Port, what didn't be a few quarter, another baby them. Tomo or Hoyen, it didn't that they will be, and so hospital in Yajuma.
This is the Agenda 111 project in Bokro, in the Ahanta West municipality. This was one of the few commissioned by former President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo before he left office. Now, after the facility was commissioned, nothing has happened. And today, a closer look at the facility shows a level of deterioration happening. The major question the resident of this municipality asking is, what is government doing to put this facility to use?
Hospital no yejuma mine because you watch them especially you want crass wall young side come for chrome and patano asama.
Albert Anderson and Kofi, residents here like Joel, say they only want government to do right by the people of Bokro and Ahanta West as a whole.
Because by now police ganka for now they may anka debula little move my yes so say yamre adom say we hospital so for my area na so the ni bebre say kura boa ye minimum mare mo 77 patro bi oba pede ba kodone a bokoro kodone be de yes so ko wa men bebre wotu mam say done because adakina say scam pro typical anaka odika be ku a ede de mo akavakari na wa ho atu ajaka be kwan asala say twike na meseke be for yon be lo bayo.
I will hope that the government will come and do it best so that the facility will operate. We are waiting for government to put in the facilities so that it will start operating.
The government in its 2026 budget committed 100 million cedis to complete 10 of the Agenda 111 hospitals this year. The question then is, when will the Bokro Hospital be operationalized? For Joy News, Samuel Kojo, Bokro, Ahanta West, Western Region.
Emergency Operations Center in Pantan, scores of disease control officers keenly monitor screens displaying data on infectious diseases recorded across the various regions. With surveillance systems and protocols in place, Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Samuel Kaba, believes the country is well positioned to deal with emerging infectious diseases.
From today, we need to tighten our belts towards that. As I said, you guys have to read more about the disease so that you don't miss.
But preparedness is not just a statement. In many community and district hospitals, when an infectious disease breaks out, there is nowhere designated to manage the case.
The current practice is that
when somebody comes with such a disease, let's say, for instance, tuberculosis, we have a very small room that we put the patient in. And there are times where you have to put another infectious disease patient in the same room, putting that other patient at risk of acquiring the tuberculosis.
But in the districts where these infectious disease centers are needed, contractors have abandoned work, while in other areas where the projects have been completed, the medical equipment required to make them functional has yet to be installed.
The original plan was a 30-bed capacity hospital that was supposed to be fully functional. What I mean by fully functional is that it has everything that it requires: a laboratory unit, X-ray unit, cast beds, admitting facilities, anything. And it was supposed to be ready anytime there's an infectious disease outbreak that we needed to do mass admissions and critical care. Unfortunately, the project started really well, but over the years, the contractors have left the site.
Imagine treating tuberculosis, COVID-19, and Mpox patients in the same ward. Different infections, same air, same risk. That's the reality at the Nalarugu's Baptist Medical Center in the Northeast region. When the first suspected Mpox case arrived in Nalarugu last year, there was no specialized infectious disease center waiting. According to the medical director at Baptist Medical Center, Dr. Isabella Amisi, the facility had to rely on makeshift single yard.
We had to create makeshift rooms to house these people, because if you put them in the general population, you're just going to spread the disease to all the patients on the ward you put them in. So an infectious disease center is usually a specialized unit that can contain the diseases, filter the air in the rooms, and allow the patients to heal and recover without posing a great risk to others. So this is very significant because we are limiting the spread, limiting it through the mode of spread, especially usually the airborne diseases. And then there are also special precautions in these wards to help limit other forms of spread, like contact, spread, and all that. So an infectious disease center is one of the ways in which we can prevent public health crisis. So it's very important in any setting. And given that Baptist Medical Center is a big hospital, the risk is more evident if you put even one person in a ward that takes care of 40 patients at a time. So it's very important to have the center built and as quickly as possible, because we don't know when the next pandemic or epidemic will happen. Recently, we had monkeypox. We had to find a place to put them. We could have kept them in such a ward.
This single room was once meant for tuberculosis alone, but over time, when infectious disease patterns changed, the space did not. Dr. Amisi again.
So when the hospital was established, TB was very predominant. So there was a small isolation unit that was built. It houses just about 4 on the TB side at a time, 4 to 8 patients at a time. So that is where we normally put our patients, but it's not differentiated into more units. They are not individualized rooms. So that means if whatever infectious disease comes, are you going to put them all in the same room? So risking all their lives to exposure of, you came with one disease, maybe I came with meningitis, and then I'm lying close to somebody with TB without the systems that filters the air. I may get the person's TB, but I can also be kept in the general ward because I pose a risk to other patients on the general ward. So that we are still managing with that small isolation center, but we have outgrown the center.
In this documentary, Kwetenate explores why some infectious disease centers have been abandoned, the national framework for citing these facilities, and the standard protocol for managing infectious diseases within a single yard. I have come to meet Dr. Franklin Esiedi-Bequin, a public health physician with long-standing experience in disease surveillance, outbreak preparedness, and response. He believes that managing infectious diseases does not depend solely on the space where a patient is treated. According to him, the standard protocol rests on whether the cases can be properly managed there or require isolation.
No, so first and foremost, you need to be able to ascertain the kind of condition you are managing, and then also whether you have the required human resource to manage it. So, let's say if you have a disease condition, first you need to confirm it and make a determination. After that, you also need to ask yourself, do you have the human resource to manage that case? Then two, do you have the required setup in terms of equipment, in terms of management of the case itself. So let's say if you have such a case in a location and you do not have that, the next point of call is that you need to find a way of referral. And clearly now we have our transport by way of ambulances are quite improving in terms of numbers, so we need to refer. So for highly infectious disease conditions, that's where we need to manage them in infectious disease centers, and the prominent one is the one at GIDC. So if we have such a situation, first and foremost, we isolate. You isolate and make a determination whether the case can be managed there or you to refer. So basically, that's the principle in managing infectious disease conditions.
I know this does not fall under your domain, but in an instance whereby, let's say, a facility at a community level has 3 different infectious diseases, let's say tuberculosis, cholera, and let's say mpox, and they only have one ward for managing infectious disease, how should it go, or what should be the standard protocol in this picture?
No, the principle does not change. It's about isolating them. You see, there's some instances that we put up tents. Because the idea is that you don't want the infectious patient to contaminate others. So first you isolate, and then as I say, make a determination what to do. Are you going to refer, or you try and make a makeshift site to manage the case? So that should be the principle. You don't want to mix that pathogen with the general body. So that should be the principle. And then you decide that I'll manage. Let's say if you have Ebola.
At the Eastern Regional Hospital, the holding bay for infectious diseases is an improvised space created during the COVID-19 period. The hospital's management collapsed several units to create the facility, which has an 11-bed capacity. The medical doctor, Akosua, says it was designed to meet changing trends in disease management.
These emerging diseases, when we have severe cases, be it from the district or we find them out de novo in our facility, we would hold them in the infectious disease center, which we call the medical annex. That is the name we have given to that one. Post-COVID, management has maintained that ward for that purpose. And a few times where we need to seclude patients because of some known diseases which we think may be infectious, for example, a pulmonary tuberculosis where patient is actively coughing, we do transfer to hold them in that area. But there again, this area has reduced the bed capacity for the hospital because it's not actively used for the purpose for which it was intended. I mean, this is a carved out area, but because we understand that these emerging diseases are now becoming rampant and facilities lower than the regional hospitals in the district would depend on our expertise for management. We have decided to dedicate those wards for the management of such cases.
let me be.
For disease control officers managing different infectious diseases in this makeshift structure, it has become a dilemma. Esther Avoka is the disease control officer.
It's very challenging having just a ward that is serving as a makeshift for infectious diseases. We have various forms of infectious diseases. You cannot mix TB cases with people who are coming in and are being diagnosed with mpox, or cases that may come in other, whether dengue fever and other infectious diseases. The transmission differs, okay? So we need to have a space, and even the place is not conducive enough. If you see the airflow of this area, it's not so conducive and where it is located. So it is challenging. Moving cases, some out and some in, it defeats the purpose of infection prevention.
So if you have, let's say, 3 different infectious diseases, then what happens?
It means you have to prioritize, all right? You look at the one that is more infectious. So if you are looking at Ebola and you are looking at TB, you prefer to move TB to the ward, which is an airborne condition, and then maybe with nose marks. It is not droplets, it is airborne, it's droplet nuclei. So the infection of TB is less dangerous than if it is a case of Ebola.
The risk of cross-infection to patients and health workers increases significantly. Mrs. Avoka again.
It does, but once you don't have the resources, you have to manage with the little that you have. So currently we are constrained with space, and that's the best that we can do.
This became evident when the region recorded its early cases of mpox. Jennifer Anno Entry is disease control and surveillance officer in the Eastern region. She shares insights on how it was managed.
The person didn't have any history of traveling or any history of, let's say, traveling elsewhere, or he has not traveled even 1 month prior to the onset of the symptoms. So we actually couldn't point out to where the infection was contacted, or we couldn't have traced it. But because he didn't have any travel history, he didn't have history of coming into contact with anyone with similar signs or symptoms.
Can you describe the condition in which your team found this patient?
Okay, so on arrival, we realized the patient was having there was fever, and there were also rashes which were vesicular in nature. When I say vesicular, it means rashes which were in the form of bumps with fluid-filled rash. Yes. And with all over the skin, from the face down to it was scattered all over the body.
Last September, according to dashboard on the command center set up by the Ghana Health Service to monitor infectious diseases, there were 547 epidemic-prone diseases from all 261 districts. Influenza-like illness and severe acute respiratory infections were the most reported cases, closely followed by mpox and COVID-19. As of the 18th of January 2026, the country had recorded 12 new cases, bringing the total confirmed cases of mpox to 980.
Since the outbreak began in May 2025, the Ministry of Health, through the Ghana Health Service and with partner support, has activated a coordinated multi-sectorial response aimed at interrupting transmission and protecting public health. For clarity, while 880 cases had been confirmed as at 25th November 2025, the situation update as at 3rd March 2026 is that Ghana has recorded 1,038 confirmed cases and 8 deaths, largely among persons with underlying health conditions. 124 districts across all regions, representing 47.51%, have reported confirmed cases.
But while Nalarigu is yet to record its first case of Mpox, a 15 million Ghana cedis infectious disease treatment center, conceived at the height of COVID-19, has been abandoned. In 2020, the government awarded Macrostructures Limited the contract, 4.5 million cedis. 30% of the total sum was paid upfront. 6 years later, only 10% of the work has been done. When Joy News visited, the project was still at the foundation level, with no contractor present. The site had been overtaken by overgrown weeds and stagnant water. Dr. Isabella believes such an infectious disease center would have become a game changer in healthcare delivery, as the current facility has outlived its usefulness.
We more or less represent the region when it comes to all of these infectious diseases. So most people come to us for their care, and we can't keep putting them at risk like that. It's very appropriate to find better ways to manage our infectious disease patients. This is not ideal, if I would say.
Assembly member for Zari Fon electoral area, Bukari Husseini, said they became anxious given the resurgence of other infectious diseases in parts of the country.
People of this community, we are afraid that if in case we have something like that in our jurisdiction, where are we going to send the person to? So we expect that the government should look for the contractor who the contract was awarded to come back to site to continue, so that as and when something of that nature occurs, we can have a place to refer the person to.
Director of Public Health at Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Esiedu-Bakwin, explained the national policy on siting of infectious disease centers across the country.
Basically, you need to look at this is the risk of having a condition in a location, and also look at available resources that exist. So for Ghana, we have, I would say, 3 ecological zones. We have the northern zones, the middle, and the coastal. So north is more of the Sahel or the Savannah. And it has its unique kind of disease conditions, like meningitis. It's more unique. And the northern part of the country, it also has characteristic climate. They have the forest. You understand? They see the Ashantis, part of the Eastings, and part of the Bono regions. Those are the forested regions. They have the coastal, which is where we have the seashore, which is common with small cholera. So in making an intervention, we need to see what disease patterns are you likely to have.
The Auditor General, in a special report on COVID-19 expenditure between March 2020 and 2022, stated that several efforts by the Ministry of Health to get the contractor to return to the site have proved fruitless. The report recommended that the Chief Director of the Ministry of Health recover the mobilization amount, terminate the contract, and re-award it. Failure to do so would require the Director to refund the amount. Efforts to get the Ministry of Health to comment on the matter have proved futile. However, in an RTI request filed by Joy News, the Auditor General indicated that it has not surcharged the Chief Director. When the news team spoke with the contractor, Yao Dankwa, he blamed delays in payment for their inability to complete the project. He revealed the project has been terminated. Nalarigu is not alone. A 30-bed infectious disease center that was conceived during COVID as part of a national response in the Western region has been abandoned. A public health doctor at the Fiankwanta Hospital, Maxwell Apia, said his team currently operates a 16-bed facility. When it becomes necessary, they resort to erecting tents outside to contain the situation.
And if we are able to complete it, it's going to help us immediately. It's going to increase our capacity to be able to admit more. Currently, our bed size is 16, and on a normal day, we have infectious disease patients, mainly tuberculosis patients, who are on admission in our facilities. And so, if we get an outbreak that needs more patients, often would have to create spaces out of other places. But when we get a 30-bed hospital is certainly going to help us to be able to manage them more effectively.
But infrastructure is only one problem. The facility that used to boast of several health practitioners now has one permanent doctor and 5 nurses. Dr. Maxwell appear again.
For some time now, the ministry has not been recruiting as many doctors, nurses, and other health professionals as we wanted. And unfortunately, especially during 2023, 2024, a number of healthcare workers left Ghana. Many nurses, doctors, and others left for greener pastures outside. And as always, some will retire and all that. But unfortunately, the service has not been able to recruit enough people to replace those that we lost through these situations. And therefore, there's a huge human resource gap. We currently do not have as many nurses as we require. We do not have as many doctors as we require. And then our lab, for some time now, the lab units, they are not even recruiting lab staff. And all these things has led to significant shortages in human resource. And therefore, we are not able to attend to the patients the way we would have wanted to.
So let's look at how many you've lost and how many are currently serving at the infectious disease center.
Currently, I'm the only permanent doctor here. That's the first thing. And then for my nurses, I remember 2023, 2024 was a very bad year for us. Bad year in the sense that starting from October 2023, every month a nurse left to go outside. So from October, the first one went to Canada. November, the next one went to Canada. December, the next one went to the US. January, the next one, just like that.
The stalled 30-bed infectious disease center is already having telling effects on healthcare in the Western region. In a study conducted by researchers, Vetanen and others on patients with infectious diseases, overcrowding and health in hospital staff in Finnish, they found out that overcrowded wards contributed to high prevalence of infectious disease among patients. This tends to have adverse effects on the health of hospital workers. For patients, it means delays in accessing services for their family. Alhaji Al-Hassan, a relative of one of the patients receiving care at the facility, said they spent long hours waiting for lab results before doctors proceed with treatment.
I think we send it there for renewable, and at the same time they give us some numbers and then lab tests to go and do the tests.
How long did it take for you to do the labs?
Oh, actually it took about, when they refer you to a field contact, there's a pressure over there. It will take you about 2-3 hours.
In Goso, in the Ahafo region, the infectious disease center stands almost finished. But almost is not enough during an outbreak. When Journeys visited the holding center there, it wasn't functional. Sensor control panels have not been installed. Hospital authorities say the team X-ray machine, deep freezer, and stove are yet to be supplied. In Zebula, in the Upper East region, the center is completed, but without ventilators or X-ray machines. Medical superintendent at the Zebula Government Hospital, Ayubi Abdul Rahman, said infectious diseases facility has been repurposed to take care of more pressing needs of the hospital.
Since taking over, we've put it to use. Once at a time it was handed over, of course, we were not having any issues of any an infectious disease outbreak, and so the facility obviously cannot be left unused. And so we've put it to good use. We have the neonatal intensive care unit that is occupying a part of the facility. We also have the pediatric unit also using some sections of the facility. And of course, we've reserved some areas in the event that we have cases that we need to isolate. And so that's the current situation.
In December 2025, Ethiopia recorded its first ever outbreak of Marburg virus. Though the country has declared an end to the epidemic, the signal that emerging infectious diseases has no boundaries is clear. As Ghana struggles with unfinished centers, however, Director General of Ghana Health Service, Dr. Samuel Kaba Akoreya, insists the country is ready.
It took one case of shutdown. Many people were COVID. Many people were affected. The entire world went into crisis. And so don't say it's only one case that you might be detecting. It matters a lot. That one case is what is going to shut us down. That one case is what is going to kill you.
The country has emergency operation centers set up at Pantan and Kolebu teaching hospitals. A case management team stands by and is activated when necessary to ensure the country does not engage in firefighting in the event of an outbreak. Irrespective of how the picture unfolds, Ghana sits at crossroads of emerging infectious diseases, with bricks, equipment undelivered, and critical infectious disease centers abandoned. The nation's resolve could be tested again, because when the next outbreak comes, the question will not be whether Ghana was warned, but whether leadership acted decisively. For Joy News, this has been Kwete Nati.
Now, let's wrap up the show today by sending our birthday wishes to the man, the Chief of Staff of the Republic of Ghana, Julius Deborah. Today, you are a year older. I'm told you are 60 years. You're a man loved by many, right? So on this auspicious day, it is our prayer that the good Lord will keep blessing you and, make you great, make you that lovable person. You are you're accommodating. I mean, my first time meeting you, I was like, wow, this is a very humble man. Keep being that humble person you are. May the good Lord bless you such that all your heart desires will come to pass for you. It is our prayer that the good Lord himself will direct you and direct your path in everything you do, will give you wisdom for you to be intelligent in all your dealings. So happy birthday to you, Honorable Julius Deborah, Chief of Staff of the Republic of Ghana. And once again to you, Manfred Arthur of Biaho. Manfred Media and then into Chuko Kemka and Manfred Yamli Yiro and Yokazri. And the Chief of Staff, Yebedi Bauda and Yamli Yokazri, the Chief of Staff. So to it, Manfred, you are celebrating your birthday with the Chief of Staff. So may the good Lord lift you up to the level of the Chief of Staff. Say amen. It will come to pass, okay? All right, my name is Samuel Brace. Let's wrap up the show here. On behalf of the production team, I say thank you for making us part of your morning. Up next, here on the channel, is News Desk. Meet again, God willing, on Monday. Until then, please be good.